Oh, you guys can you guys?
Hey,
Oh, there
what
you
is up, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything between? It's time to raise your glasses and your horns to rock out to some Van Halen. That's right, we are here to rank Van Halen 1, the OG, the debut album, the album you could say that really started us all on the Van Halen journey. That's right, we have made it. It has come time to finally discuss it, which means it's our last album to discuss, and we had to do it live because hey, we always go live for ranking shows, so why wouldn't we? I am your co-host, Mark Kamier. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, I know you're excited to break down this particular album. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all because tonight's going to be a party. This is one of those records where from 11 all the way down to 1, they're all bangers. They're all classics. It was really interesting to see how the results shook out. There's some surprises in the results that I thought, but overall, for all the 20 people who submitted rankings, everybody had a lot of positive things to say. Obviously, this is considered a perfect album by a lot of people, especially a perfect debut album. I was trying to think another perfect debut album. Obviously, Appetite for Destruction, I think, gets mentioned in that category. What else? Anyone can what are some other perfect albums, especially early in the career?
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was until it wasn't.
No, Boston, the first Boston record.
First Boston.
That's a that's a good pull. Yeah, Boston. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I think if you're a fan of the work of Linkin Park, I think their album Hybrid Theory is pretty damn spectacular in terms of just getting introduced to who they are and what they sound like. It's pretty it made my middle school heart very, very happy listening to that band. But there are probably a plethora of ones that we can't even think of, but
Led Zeppelin 1. Come on, guys.
There you go. But lucky for us, Corey, we don't have to do this just by ourselves. We have a slander, or not a slander, I'm sorry, just a slew. No slander here. It's all factual. We have us a slew. Oh boy, it's it's a party, and we're just gonna go with it. So we have quite a lineup for tonight's show. So let me go ahead and just introduce. We certainly, even if we tried, couldn't do it. A live show without Chaz Mataz himself from the Regarding series, including Regarding Van Halen 3, which is picking up so much traction right now. Welcome to the show, Chaz Charles. Hello, Chaz. It's like I saw you only 2 days ago.
It has not been very long, has it? But hey, man, I brought my pencil. This was a tough one.
Oh.
I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to discuss this one. And yes, you're right, man. Regarding Van Halen 3 is taking off, and that's thanks very much to another panel guest that I'll defer to right now.
He just showed up. His pizza was late. He's even got the pizza on the shot with him.
It's on his shirt too. I didn't want to tell him, but hey,
yeah, I got Mikey right behind me there. Look at Mikey.
Mikey's looking good.
That, of course, is the dulcet tones of Eric Sinich from the Van Halen News Desk. Eric, welcome back to the show, dude. I don't think you would have allowed us to talk about this album without you being here. So thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. What can't get better than this one. It's great to see you guys. Darren's here. We got my man Darren. We got Kevin Brown. Oh my God, Chaz. Oh my God, Scott's not here though, huh? Scott Monroe? No Scott Monroe.
No, he had better things to do on a Friday night, apparently. What? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know who didn't have something better to do? The aforementioned Darren Paltrowitz. He has joined us back on the show because, look, he wrote the book about David Lee Roth, so naturally he has to come on and talk about the album that gave the world David Lee Roth. You know what I mean? So, Darren, welcome back to the show, dude.
Thank you. My Fridays lately have been listen to all the Dabbleverse things. Eric is a fellow dabbler. We should explain what this is if you guys.
Context.
Does it involve gummies? What are you doing?
What this is?
Yes, please.
Okay, so do you remember the Howard Stern show? There was this guy Stuttering John who was on there.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Baba Booey. Baba
And
Booey.
exactly. And so Stuttering John, after the Howard Stern show, went to the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and that should have been like the career catapult, but he's a mess, and it wasn't. And so there's this one podcast that kind of picked up this segment that does like, is this the worst podcast in the world? And John fought that, and then more people started piling on, and then he started fighting them, and then more people started piling on. So every week you just kind of watch John to see like what lies he tells, and then all the other podcasts recap John's episodes to catch him in those lies. And it's my new like favorite TV show. It has replaced television for me. The Dabbleverse. Eric, did I miss anything there?
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, my God, Pamela Anderson.
and
is classic.
To relate it to Van Halen, John did open up like 2 shows for David Lee Roth at the peak of his career in '94. So
that's right.
Van Halen.
Yeah, and with his band.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well they were all friends around K-Rock down there. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. All hanging around. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Start for the filibuster.
No, that is that's classic Howard Stern those days.
We love having regular dabblers here on the show. And speaking of one who dabbles, he dabbled around and I guess decided to join us. Pizza took precedence. I understand. That's why you order your pizza early. And I'm referring, of course, to our favorite Brit, Kevin Brown. He's on the show. His pizza's on the show. Kev, are you satiated?
I'm not British. I'm Canadian.
I've seen his name all over the website. His name has been everywhere, all over the internet.
Yeah, yes, we are not worthy.
Yeah, I just I mentioned when introducing Chaz the regarding Van Halen 3, specifically the Redux has been picking up so much traction.
Redux.
I saw Redux. I saw Metal Injection put up an article about it, which that's incredible. So yeah, hey, kudos on all that.
So cool. It's been received universally positively by the the very reasonable Van Halen fan base. Has been nothing but good things to say, right? So it's
all
great.
positive. Yes, that's correct.
That's
not
amazing.
A single negative, just like our show. No negatives.
If Sanich was scrubbing some of my comments off of the VHMD, I think they were sanitizing shit.
Oh, just like my Sammy Summer Songs article went over.
Yes.
Really,
Poor Eric.
Well, we all do. If there's anything that could reunite the Van Halen fan base, it's an article about Van Halen 3. So
let Cupid sort them out.
Well, good stuff. Great having all of you on the show for this ranking of Van Halen self-titled, aptly known as Van Halen 1, since the follow-up was Van Halen 2, so we'll just call it 1. I mean, yeah, Corey, this was difficult for me to rank just in the terms of what in God's name goes last. Like what possibly is the song that I'm going, this is the less good of all. And it's like, like you say, it's back-to-back bangers all the way through, diverse bangers at that. Like it's not all the same formula. Like not all of them are Ain't Talking About Love. Not all of them are Running with the Devil, and vice versa. No, like this album has like so many variations in terms of song structure. So this was difficult for me. I assume difficult for you and everybody else.
Oh yeah, I was probably the last one to get my rankings finalized today. I took today off from work. I kicked my whole family out of the house, and I just put on Van Halen 1 on the turntable and just listened to it front to back, and just kind of went with my gut to finish off my rankings, because you can try and get technical with it. You can try and get emotional with it. It's going to change every which way but loose. One person on the panel actually gave up, just sent me like an aborted list and said, "Here, I'm done. Just take it. I don't care." Chaz, maybe explain why you just gave up trying to rank this album.
You know, I just got to a place, man, where it was a collection of A's. It's just from A plus right on through down to A minus, and that's just it, man. Let's party, because it's like best of the best. It's like, you know what? the only reason I could put a song at the end is because maybe another song did it better. And that's just a very minor thing to say, right? And maybe the album could have been a little shorter, right? So, I mean, you know, who knows? I mean, what the fuck? It's brilliant. It's Van Halen 1, so it's party time, man. Yeah, I just like forget it. I was overthinking it, way overthinking it, man.
It happens, and if it's
Fuck.
ever gonna happen on any Van Halen album, this is probably the one to happen. But
well, it means so much, man, because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's where it all started, and I have an emotional connection to it. I mean, I was fucking like 8 or 9 years old when I heard this shit. So yeah, and that's when I just gotten my guitar. In fact, just the other day, I found a picture of my first guitar. I'll take a snap and I'll post it. But yeah, with it was black, but I put the tape on it, you know, and it was like, you know, 1979. Yeah.
Well, look at that.
Fucking
Little
A.
young Chaz Charles. Be on the lookout for that and his makeshift Franken guitar. Corey, what do you say we get this ball rolling? I'm ready to talk some Van Halen tunes.
Let's do it. All right. Well, as always, I'll explain just roughly what we did here. We pulled all of our lovely patrons and some special guests like Mr. Paltrowitz and Mr. Senich to submit their rankings of how they would rank Van Halen, the debut record, from 11 to 1. So I took all those rankings, I did the math, and we have our official show rankings here from 11 to 1. I'll also be letting you know how the audience voted on our Twitter polls for this with a little asterisk, and you'll see it when it comes up. But Atomic Punk, that poll's still open. So
Yes.
it does have a place as of right now. And as of right now, actually, for the audience, it's in first. It's at 96.1%. What Dreams Are Made of right now, 3.9%. The Dream Is Over. It actually, every song but two was ranked in the 90s from this record. So it doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, the lowest ranked song for the audience was Ice Cream Man, 86.5%. What Dreams Are Made of. Still higher than pretty much any Sammy tune, save for like 3 or 4.
Unbelievable, honestly. But that's interesting to me because even though Ice Cream Man, I think is, and we can talk more about this when we come to it. In fact, I'll save those thoughts, but I have thoughts about that placement.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's maybe just go quick around the horn. What do you think finished last? Which track on Van Halen 1 finished 11th?
I'm going to guess Eruption.
Eruption?
Oh, God, I hope not. I mean...
On Fire.
Could be, I think I'd probably go with Chaz there. Not mine, but I think it probably is.
Yeah, it's not mine, but I'm thinking it might be On Fire. Yeah. Mine was Little Dreamer.
Oh!
Eric's was Little Dreamer. Mine was Little Dreamer.
Yeah, I'd have Little Dreamer.
And that's the one that finished 11th.
Oh, shit.
Little Dreamer. 59 points for that one.
Guys.
The highest ranking was a second. 2 people ranked this one as high as number 2. 10 people, so half the people submitting rankings submitted this as the last one. The audience ranking on this one also 9th. So second to last for the audience. So Little Dreamer coming in. Chaz, you're pretty upset about this one.
This is a great song, man. I was advocating to put this in my band's set list. It's just such a great feel. It's fucking Van Halen meets the Eagles, you know? It's fucking Hotel California if you play it out. And it just got that groove and you can jam on it. And, you know, great song. I thought Dave was right in his wheelhouse. So, yeah, for me, this one always just connected because of the more, you know, bluesy feel to it. And, you know.
Where did you have this one, Chaz?
7.
Aha, right on. So, Darren, do you think Little Dreamer belongs in the 11th spot?
I have it close to the end of my list. It's a great song, but not to me a great Van Halen song, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I believe that. I can hear that. Eric Sinich, your rebuttal to that.
Yeah, this album is perfect from start to finish. So just getting that out there first before we talk about what we put last. Little Dreamer, yeah, you know, Darren's got a good point. I think when you look at that Van Halen sound, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't exactly fit in that much, but it's one of those songs you think about. Dave is not known for these types of songs, but Damn Good, and what else am I thinking of where he's got like Coconut Grove is a really cool vibe he's got on that. He can do these songs. He can definitely do it. In fact, what's the demo Angel Eyes, which I love, that was such a it's such a ballady type song that he's included on the first album, which they had thought of. If you guys ever get a chance to listen to that, I'm sure you've heard it, Angel Eyes. But yeah, that's the only reason I put it at the bottom, just because it's hard to resist the rest.
That's a very fine point. Kevin Brown, how do you feel about Little Dreamer being at 11th spot?
It was in 9th for me. I always think of it as like Push Comes to Shove Part 1. Like it's got the same tempo, it's got the similar kind of groove to it, and I think Dave, in that sleazy kind of mid-low register draw, is perfect. It's the exact right place for him. The only thing I'd say about this one is I'm not really sure about this. I think it's probably my least favourite solo on the record. Not because it sucks, because it's Eddie Van Halen still, but it's almost like that one's been wedged in. I think all the stuff he's doing in between the verse lines and all the little fills he's putting in are the interesting guitar parts on this one. Not so much the solo, but that's just my take. So
yeah, you're right. Yeah, the fills on this one, that's why I wanted to play it, because this song is so much fucking fun to play. So yeah, so that's why I was advocating for my band to do it. And my singer, I mean, like I said, I mean, this is like a great song for like a modern bar band to pick up, and like people go, oh yeah, that's Van Halen, right? Yeah, and people dig it. But yeah, great bar song.
It's fantastically fun. It is a fun Van Halen song. Again, I can't stress this enough, guys. There's no bad song on Van Halen 1. They're all straight up bangers of variation. For me, I had said on our last show that I was trying to go into these rankings in particular because it's Van Halen 1 and because it's special. I was really trying to decide, how does each track make me feel in terms of like just my overall journey, not so much how am I feeling in this moment. Does this song line up to this one, whatever? No, I was like, how does it make me feel overall? And I had the least connection with Little Dreamer. Not that Little Dreamer is a bad song. It's not. It's fantastic. And we love when, Dave gets to showcase his bluesy style, because he can do it really well when he tries. And here he's trying, and it's working really well. But as the rest of my list will go, a lot of them are just how I felt personally about them and how they make me feel on this journey as a whole. So this one may be at the last, but doesn't mean that it's a terrible song. And actually, it's a really good song. So, but it had to go somewhere. So that's why it's my number 11th. And Corey, last thoughts on Little Dreamer?
I really dig this song. I love the song. I love the harmonies. I love the solo. I mentioned two people who did our rankings rank this in their second spot. Tom Armbruster is one. He's in the chat. Hey, Tom. And the other one is Sean McGinnity from the Sean Geek and Fast Red podcast. And I just wanted to read his comments on Little Dreamer. He said, "This is what I love about Van Halen. They're not able to shift gears, but they can borrow from other styles of music and make it their own. Love the harmonies. I love Dave here. The solo is so awesome. I like variety in my Van Halen, and this song brings it."
That sounds right. Sounds about right. So good stuff. But yeah, again, Little Dreamer has to go somewhere. And for some of us, it just didn't quite get to that top spot. And that's fine. So how about number 10? What do we think 10 here? What do we think number 10?
Eruption.
You're going to say Eruption until it comes up, aren't you, Darren?
Yeah, you know it.
Eventually.
Well, I'm going to say On Fire till it comes up then. Let's play that game. That's great. We'll see who wins.
On Fire. There we go. Let it be said.
Well, this one's a little trickier, because we got Dave on an acoustic guitar to kick this one off here.
Wow.
No.
Sorry,
not Little Dreamer.
Fuck no.
The other one.
Well, I'm relieved because it's only one place higher than I thought it should be. But
Number 10, Ice Cream Man, 89 total points. The highest it ranked on somebody's ballot was third. And I bet you can guess who on the panel had this one ranked third. He's on the call right now. The lowest this thing ranked, 3 people had it ranked dead last. The audience ranked this one dead last for them, but it still had 86.5% what dreams are made of. So a pretty good score for the last song ranked for our audience. But number 10 for our official rankings here. Not bad.
I'm curious as to why the audience feels like Ice Cream Man's just not worthy to be any higher than that. Is it just because it's an acoustic try for Van Halen when they weren't doing that? I don't know. I'm very curious about that, but I think number 10's fine. It was my number 9 personally, but again, only because it had to go somewhere. And I just have like so many more feelings about some other songs ahead of it. So it made number 9. 10, 9, it's close enough. But what about you, Corey?
I had this with number 8. And again, it was just, this could be as high as 4, I think, some days. It all depends on how I'm feeling. I love Ice Cream Man. Dave shines on this. I love it when they kick it in with the full band. This groove is just fucking killer. It's all good, baby. Ice Cream Man is an A. From A+ to A-. There's nothing below an A- on this entire record, so listen to this.
Yes, listen to this.
Lovely.
A++.
Kevin
plus.
Brown, explain to Chaz why you hate Ice Cream Man.
I don't hate it.
I can't wait to hear this.
I don't tune into it. It's just a box standard 12 bar. You talk about bar band blues. Like,
right.
It's just a 12 bar blues. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not as interesting as all the original compositions on this album for me at all. I love the harmonies. I love it, but I mean, I think really the solo is ludicrous. I mean, the guy, the way this guy plays on everything, you just think, even on a song like this where it's a fairly standard song. I mean, look, it's easy enough that David Lee Roth can play guitar on it. Let's put it that way. But Eddie saves it with the solo. I'm waiting for the solo, but you know what I was thinking though? Listen to the lyrics. I think it could have been helped if we just put some cherries on those bananas in the Dixie Cups. You know, so that could
get a little lunch pail in there, right on up to a lunch pail.
There you go.
Creaming the coffee, indeed. Before he explodes into a rage, go ahead, Chaz. Tell us why the ranking is wrong about Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man, everyone is so fucking wrong. This is top 3 Van Halen, period. I mean, my God, this is fucking Ice Cream Man.
They didn't even
the
write
brilliance of it is that it is this simple blues song. And it's fucking Van Halen tearing up like you've never heard anybody tear up the fucking blues. And I'm sorry, that is, for me, that's his top 3. It goes back and forth in top 3 spots for solo of all times. And the only one that kind of beats it out for me is Stay Frosty, and that's a fucking battle because that was this at the end of Ed's career. So this was the beginning of Ed's career as they're getting their first record out. This is what he was doing with the blues. And then look what he did with it at the fucking end. So, I mean, my God, I mean, it's just, and you know, Dave, it's all creamy good. He's all up there doing his, I mean, this is the band in their fucking sweet spot for every fucking member. And another one of those songs where you can actually hear Mikey. So it's got them all, you know, and it's just, for me, man, so definitive of the band. And that's what I think we got to remember about this album is that this is the album that defined them and defined a genre, right? So, I mean, nobody did it better in my mind. So this is just exemplary Edward.
I have to take a sidebar. Thank you, Chaz. That's good stuff. Unfortunately, I was distracted by what had happened before your soliloquy there, which was beautiful. But sidebar, if anyone has seen the movie Mean Girls, I know this sounds like a digression, but it's coming around. There's a moment where a girl pours her heart out as to why she's sad that nobody's hanging out like they used to. And there's a character with a hood and sunglasses shouts out, "She doesn't even go here." That was Kevin Brown as Chaz was explaining why Ice Cream Man is so top tier Van Halen. They didn't even write it. So, Kevin, can you please make us a shirt of like an ice cream cone or an Ice Cream Man? It's like they didn't even write it.
I'm on it.
That was too funny. I'm sorry. I had to just mention that. Anyway, Darren Paltrowitz, does Ice Cream Man live up to your high standards?
It does, but the first thing I was going to say ties in with what you were just referencing about Mean Girls, which is I was going to say maybe the most entertaining thing that we have going on here is the Corey Kevin Brown rivalry. I don't know how this started. I don't want this to ever end. That's the key right here. I would rather use my time to talk about that than how great Ice Cream Man is.
You know what? You're right. Like, all right, we're reforming the episode today. I can assure you the rivalry will never end. It will never end so long as we are still on the air.
Yes. Oh, go check him out on Ultimate Catalog Clash, man. It's in full bloom.
Kevin's just mad because I outed him as a secret Nickelback fan. I mean, I'm trying to tell him it's okay. It's okay to love Nickelback. You don't have to hide behind this fake thing where you're like, oh, Nickelback sucks, and I'm 4'8". Look how mad I am. Don't do that no more. Just love what
Sorry,
you
Corey,
love, buddy.
You're breaking up, Corey. You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Are you sure?
Glitching out there.
Hello?
Yeah,
Are we having fun yet?
To keep it fair to Kevin, Corey, it's okay for you, a proud Canadian, to admit you hate Rush. You think they're a terrible band. Eric Sinich, can you bring this back to Ice Cream Man?
Oh man, this is classic Dave. This is actually how Dave started his journey on changing the world. How David Lee Roth changed the world.
I see what you did there.
This song. There you go.
Amen.
By the way, Darren's book, How David Lee Roth Changed the World, available at the VanHalenStore.com. Now let's get back to the song. This is classic Dave. This was what changed. Actually, what is it? He's listed as David Roth in the credits. This is when he went from David Roth to David Lee Roth. He's showing his personality. The story behind this is great too. How his buddy gave him the song because Dave used to drive around the emptied out ice cream truck and they'd stack it up with beers and shit. And then he would play it for his buddies and the girls at parties. Come on, I'm with Chaz.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Now I had it pretty low. I had it at 7. That's just because the songs above it are like staples of rock radio. But really, so is Ice Cream Man. Still gets played to this day.
That is true.
Yep.
There you go.
So I can't fault Chaz for holding this one so high, and it's because it is a classic Van Halen song. But I guess for the most of us, we just liked it a little bit less than some of the other bangers. But that is bound to happen with a Van Halen 1 ranking. That's just the nature of it. So
I think the Dave haters are the ones who voted down on the list,
like Kevin Brown.
Yeah. Sammy lovers.
Whoa, don't throw
fucking
me back
Gary
into that
lovers.
bush, you dirty.
You put it last. So
Yeah.
explain yourself.
I have done. I just don't think much of it. It's just a.
He didn't even write it.
Just called it a shite braid, essentially. Just fucking pissed all over it. Whatever.
Boy, if that's his like swinging argument for Ice Cream Man, there's another song that we're gonna have a doozy talking about. I tell you.
I love this.
But
Tom is pointing out that everybody defending this song ranked it in the bottom 5.
I mean, again,
there's been
Tom, this album doesn't have a bad song on it, so
right,
what are you
gonna
do?
But Kevin wasn't the only one who ranked it last. I want to point this out. Also, Janice Risco, a patron of ours, and YouTuber extraordinaire Johnny Bean had this one last.
What did you get from Kelsey? I bet it's in Kelsey's top 3.
Oh, Kelsey's been busy. She didn't submit rankings for this.
Nah.
Oh, no wow. Rank? Kevin Brown loses credibility week after the week the past couple of months. Look at that. You're making
there
fans
you go,
all
Scotty.
over the place.
There you go.
Kevin Brown making fans.
That implies that I had credibility. I don't know where that's come from.
Oh, well.
That might be my next article. Kevin Brown thinks Ice Cream Man sucks.
There you
His
go.
manufactured credibility. That's it.
Yeah. Noted Dave hater Kevin Brown says Ice Cream Man sucks.
Right, out there quoting Gary Sharon.
The Van Halen 3
he's
Redux.
out there with an agenda. He's got the Sharon agenda.
The Van Halen 3 Redux by known David Lee Roth hater Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown aims to reimagine Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man. just take the vocal off it.
Update: Kevin Brown seeks to erase David Lee Roth from Van Halen history once and for all.
He's
doing
Snap style.
On the byline, put cherries on bananas.
It's funny though because the 2 songs we've done so far, I really like his vocal on both those songs. I think they're both right squarely in his wheelhouse.
It's
There's
true.
One coming up that I don't. But,
all right.
But that's I wonder if number 9 holds the same regard. What do you think, Corey?
Oh, I don't know. Let's find out, shall we? We're going in album sequence order right now. What comes after Ice Cream Man, folks? On Fire comes in next. This one shocked me that this was at number 9, actually. I would have pegged this one a bit higher. 96 total points. 2 people had this ranked as their second best track on the album. 2 people also ranked this as the worst track on the album. The audience ranked this one 5th. Mark, this one holds a special place in my heart because this is the first song we ever spun on the wheel.
It really is like the official spin. Yeah, man. On Fire. And it's a banger. This was my number 5 because it had to make the top 5. I think this being number 9 overall kind of just goes to show you the staying power of the radio hits of this album. Just because they're on the radio doesn't mean that they're bad. Again, there's no bad track on this album. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised too. But I get it because all the other songs on this album are pretty top notch. So let's see what everyone's saying. Darren, where did On Fire rank for you?
I had it low. It's a great song. I don't think the chorus is strong, but something that Roth has said, which is absolute nonsense, but he says this a lot, is the Van Halen songs that had the most success were the ones with the verbs in the title. He's like, jump, running with the devil. Like he goes on that thing. You go, hey, idiot, Panama. What are you talking about? But I'm noticing that it's the verb song.
You've never used Panama as a verb? You've never Panama'd?
You're right. I've never used pretty woman as a verb either.
Good for you.
But have you ever heard, has anyone else heard, I'm sure Eric has heard that rant about like Van Halen as a verb or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Van Halen is a verb. I know what he's mentioned that. And the other one is these songs are as familiar to you as the McDonald's arches.
Oh, I got more hits than Tony Soprano, homeboy.
Oh, jeez, that's a good one.
But so far, it's the non-verb songs that are charting low. That's what I'm noticing.
So there's Darren coming in with the DLR conspiracies. I like it.
Yes.
I actually kind of like it. Eric, how about you with On Fire?
Yeah, On Fire, man. Just kick ass fucking. This is the metal side of Van Halen, man. This is such a fucking awesome tune. They opened with on a 78 tour, and they played it right through the 84 tour, man. It's just, and Dave's hitting that high note, and Eddie with that little. Yeah, I mean I had it at 9. Again, this album is perfect from start to finish, but I have it a little further down. The one up at number 8 is even more fucking metal. But yeah, On Fire is just a great tune. And yeah, Dave can hit that high note. Unfortunately, they didn't bring it back for those tours from 07 on, as far as I can recall, just because that's a note he wouldn't be able to hit. And
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, know your limits. Know your limits. Sometimes you just gotta know. Speaking of knowing their limits, Chaz knows none. How do you feel about On Fire?
I love it, man. It's an A-. It was number 11 because I think there's a couple of, as Eric said, metal songs that go above it. And honestly, I think this one's just the reason it ended up at 11 is because I think for non-hardcore fans like us, it's maybe the least accessible song on the album because there's a little dissonance with the way Eddie's chopping at the strings there and getting that harmonic and just and even Dave's note to me is a little like yeah, but yeah, as Eric said and alluded to, for me, like a couple of the metal songs made it much higher into the list, and I think they just all of them kind of feel the same on this record, a little punky, little just on fire, they all kind of blend for me. So yeah, just great stuff, great fucking stuff.
Sometimes metal can get a little too intense for some people. And since this person does a Tom Petty podcast, I assume, Kevin, this song was a little too heavy. So you probably ranked this pretty low?
I don't mind heavy. This was my number 10. And I swear to God, this is the last negative thing I'll say about this. Anything. So the 3 songs we've done so far are the only 3 that I don't have on my Van Halen playlist. Ross' vocal on this, it's too much. Like that squealing. Yeah. It really just grates on my nerves and I just can't deal with it. But what I would say, musically, it's off the chart. The stuff that Mikey's doing, and he's doing those little hammer-ons at the end and in the outro, just phenomenal. Musically, love it. Pretty lazy lyric. We talk about Dave being a really good lyricist. I think it's quite a stock lyric in there. Musically, love it. Everything else, I'm not a fan. So, like I said, last negative comment of the night. So,
and I'm just joshing you about heavy. I know you like the heavy.
I got a question for you guys on the lyrics. That when he says "Good God, y'all," I always wondered if he was just kind of doing a little nod to the Edwin Starr song "War." Right?
Oh, I absolutely think
probably.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems like something he'd do.
He would totally.
So, yeah.
Right.
And I got to give it to him lyrically, though. I'm hanging 10 now, baby, as I ride your sonic wave. Come on, Kevin.
What does that mean?
Well done.
If you
Eric.
don't know, you've never done it.
Right
nice
there.
Defense.
So, Corey, I would like a little bit of consistency here. We've been ragging on Dave Grohl for the last, I don't know, however many weeks about his repetition.
pretty fucking
How many
hard.
times does David sing "On Fire"? I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire in this song.
This is David Lee Roth. This isn't David Grohl.
Honestly,
hey, I'm curious if we're ragging on Grohl here. I used to love the Foo Fighters. The first few records, still love it. But I discovered this one song by Sugar, Bob Mould's band after Husker Du, that is basically every single Foo Fighters song. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, I'll have to circulate this. You'll listen to this go, Dave Grohl's been rewriting this one song for about 20 years.
No shit.
Sugar.
I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
That's great.
That reality. I'm not sure.
I still say lay your bodies down. I'm in your beds. Classic. That's a fucking tattoo right there. That's gonna be my opening line.
I can't wait to see that tattoo picture you post, Eric. Like, you better get that tattoo.
Right across his lower back, tramp stamp.
Actually, I still gotta get Elvis on my elbow.
That's right, Elvis on your elbow. Yep.
Is that what Uncle Danny had?
Yeah, there you go. Uncle Manny.
Oh, I always thought he was saying Uncle Danny.
The Union.
Right.
I know about Manny Roth, of course, but the way he says it sounds like he says Uncle Danny.
Yeah, I think he says Danny too.
And then don't you hear the subliminal ink, the original, ink, the original in the back of that song?
I'm still waiting to unleash the internal documents I was leaked about.
Oh, I love it.
I'm waiting. I don't know, like, what would be the right holiday or occasion to like unleash like Roth's bad names and
Boxing
slogans
Day.
for
Boxing Day.
No, the Van Halen 1 ranking show would be the best time to drop that information, I think.
Also, yes.
Like, hey, everybody, the worst 15 names that Dave almost named his tattoo company.
I love it when Darren gets that PI cap on, man. I love it. Starts investigating it all.
Allegedly.
Well,
Well, put that PI cap on
claim and investigate what you think the number 8 song is going to be in this ranking.
Good one.
Yeah.
All right, before that, let's just go to the chat real quick on Fire.
Oh, yes.
Scott Everett had it number 6. Didn't used to have it this high, but when Wolf played it to honor his dad, then it instantly moved up. Wolf, of course, did that amazing rendition well back. Then we have it was too heavy for the When It's Love fan, so that prompted Josh to say When It's Lame. Jeff Burr says those harmonics are great. Wolfgang nailed the song on the Hawkins tribute. Tom is with Kevin on this one. Tom is one of the 2 people who ranked this one dead last. The other one was, I believe it was Chaz was the other one.
Yeah.
And the 2 folks who had this ranked second. Oh, geez, I lost it. Josh had this one second, and Johnny Bean had this one second as well.
Just want to point out, as a lover of When It's Love and as a big fan of On Fire, I take great exception to that comment made earlier.
Speaking of When It's Love, did you guys catch Sammy on opening night? 1993. He's 5 years old.
In fairness, he probably did.
They all jumble together after a while.
I sang this once in 1993, even though the song
How old
came
is
out
he?
earlier.
He's fucking 80 years old or something, right? How old is Sammy now?
It was 5 years difference.
Probably older than he should be.
81,
on tour
isn't he? Like
right
80,
now.
No, he's like
70.
70. He's 77 or something.
I think he's 76, yeah.
He should step aside. He's getting old.
He's
Not
still
before
got
the
it,
Toronto show.
Still bringing it, man.
I'm flying to Toronto next week. He can't quit until then.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Actually,
he can't quit until
cool.
Corey goes to see the Toronto show, and also, just because he can sing the songs, he doesn't have to remember dates. That's a young man's game.
No, they're bringing it, man. They're bringing it.
I got goosebumps on 5150, man, and some Just saying.
Yeah.
So number 8.
Number 8.
What do we think?
Eruption.
Well, not quite.
I guess it was James crying, and I'm very upset with the line.
But there's a verb.
God.
Yeah, it's
a verb. Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, that totally blew that theory right out of the water. Jamie's crying 100 points. 2 people had this ranked as a number 2 song on their rankings. 1 person ranked this dead last. The audience ranked this one 3rd off the entire album. So a little bit of a discrepancy between our Twitter polls and our patrons here. Number 8, how are we feeling?
Not great. That's kind of a shame. That's a real shame. For me, it was number 4, it was going to make top 5 easily just because I love this song. And I feel like this song has been in my life, I guess time frame wise, it's been in my life for as long as I've been listening to rock music. So, 37 years. Put that into perspective for you. No, it's a great tune. Is it, kind of like a radio pop rock jam? Yeah, sure. But that doesn't mean that's terrible. That doesn't mean it's bad. It means it was popular. That's what pop means, kids. It means that everybody was on the Van Halen train at that point, and as well they should be. It's a cool little tune, man, and it's again, we talk about the dynamics and the variations of this album. Jamie's Crying is a good example of demonstrating Van Halen's strengths and demonstrating that, hey, we can be just like a nonstop, party rock band, but also we can tell you a nice little story, a nice story about a person named Jamie crying. But no, it's a great song. I love it. It was my number 4. Kind of bummed to see it so low on the list, but I guess it had to go somewhere. Kevin, where did Jamie's Crying land for you?
Yeah, number 8. This is where I had it. Again, you're into this area now. It's like, well, it's a toss-up between a lot of these songs and where you put them because they're all just great.
Yeah,
it's got that very sort of, to me, it's like a Tony Iommi-esque riff during the verses. Another song with loads of space in it. I love the genius of all the best players is they know when not to play, and Ed leaves loads of space in this song. Great bridge again, where Mikey shines, and it's stripped back, super melodic solo, just kind of mirrors the melody. Beautiful, it's a great song. I love it.
Yeah, I think the melodies, or I'm sorry, the harmonies rather, really sell it. I'm a harmony guy, so I think that really sells it on this song. Chaz, are you crying over this ranking?
Yes, I am. I had this at number Jamie? 2. Fuck. Well, for me, this is one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion. This is just a great song. It transcends the genre. And the proof of that is Dave's own recording of the bluegrass version of this that he did, which is fucking brilliant. And you can hum and tap your toes and fucking shake your hips and drink your beer, and tip your waitresses. It's just a great fucking party song. It just, like I said, can be played across different types of styles. The lyric is great. I think these are, in fact, some of Roth's best lyrics of all time. In fact, if this isn't his greatest songwriting achievement, in my opinion, in terms of lyrics, and the way he delivers it, the fucking charisma he's got, given this, just makes it timeless. This makes this as timeless as some of the songs that they stole, from the Kinks and some others, those original versions. Like this to me is like refined, original classic. It's that just fucking pristine. So
Chaz reminds us to make sure to tip your servers and bartenders always. Don't be a dick and not do it. Darren Paltrowitz, Jamie's Crying. Where are you at with it?
I think it is a totally original thought as a song. And maybe because of the Tone Loc sample that one of our beloved chattas, Eric, that was a Dabbleverse reference at you, a beloved chatta. Because we've heard it so many times there too, we're just so used to hearing it as this thing. But Dave said this thing, and it might have been the Hollywood Bowl show, the last show Van Halen ever did, where during Jamie's Crying, he said, this put the rumba in rock and roll. And when you think about what Alex's drum part is, it's not a pop radio song. It's just something we've heard so many times that we've grown used to it. It's an entirely unique, original genre melding song with a drum part that's like no other. Hell of a riff, hell of a chorus that people can sing along to. So it's one of those songs, in my opinion, just has everything that you'd look for in a song, especially by Van Halen.
Isn't that true of Al quite often, though? Where when you listen to it, you think, oh, that's just straight backbeat. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. There's all sorts of little triplets going on, and there's syncopation, like it's always syncopation going on, almost always with that. Like it's really disconcerting, or it just throws you off sometimes. I was going to ask though, what it say? I should tell people on the call who don't know. I never listened to radio. I haven't listened to radio in like 15 years. What's the Tone Loc thing? I don't have a reference point for that.
Wild
Funky Cold Medina.
Was it Funky Cold Medina? I can't remember which one.
I think I might have heard that song. I'm not
sure.
It
was Wild Thing. It was Wild Thing.
So that was that, and then Funky Cold Medina did Christine 16 by Kiss.
Oh, that's
Kevin.
Right.
Have you ever seen Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Yes, I have.
Do you remember the black cop that Ace would go see all the time with the deep voice?
Yeah.
Yo, Ace.
That's Tone Loc.
Hey, Tone Loc.
Okay.
And he was also a rapper.
He was a rapper.
Hey, Kevin, have you ever seen Uncle Buck?
Yes, many
So
times.
in the scene where he goes to the school and he puts, you know, why don't you go have a rat and all that off your face, and then all of a sudden you hear,
Oh, yeah.
that's it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've never
I
connected those dots. Yeah.
I think Darren isn't Hot Blooded in Funky Cold Medina or Wild Thing. No, which one? Funky Cold Medina also has a little bit of the Foreigner song in there, Hot Blooded.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of sampling that went on from that label, Delicious Vinyl. So that song was co-written by Young MC, who then had hits with, you know,
Bust a Move.
Oh, hell yeah.
and other things. But I got to interview Young MC about all that, and I said, "Was it you that sampled that?" And he goes, "I had nothing to do with that. That was all the label." And the reason why I think he did that was because Eddie sued Tone Loc and the label over that. But rather than getting publishing credit, that would lead to millions of dollars. I think they just took like 200 grand as a one-time settlement. I know that's more than you asked, but
no.
Well, in those days, they weren't asking for permission like Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. It was just like they didn't ask for permission on any of those. That was just what they did back because nobody thought rap was going to be as big as it became. But
how do you feel about Jamie's Crying there, Eric?
Yeah, Jamie's Crying actually released on this month in 78 too, July of 78. Wow. I think it's a really important song because anybody that had followed Van Halen in the club days, backyard party days, when they played this album, that was all new to them. This was the only song from that album that they wrote in the studio. And Ted Templeman, the story's gotten out there, with Montrose, he was just bummed because there was no hit single on there. So he wanted You Really Got Me as the lead single, but something like this, I'm sure he was thinking hit single on this too. And they nailed it, in very short time. And I think that was like the start of that period where you just knew like Eddie and Dave could really work together and come up with something quick and good. I mean, this song is just, it's a real important, again, it got him on the radio once again, how many of these songs are on the radio to this day, but so I just think it's a really cool song. And I think what they did with it live was great too, and props to Al on that opening.
Where'd you have it?
I had it at 5.
Yeah. Good placement.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. And Corey, how about you, man? Where does Jamie's Crying lie for you?
You know what? I really dig this song. All the cool people in the chat put it in the same spot as I did. Scott Everett, Jeff Brewer, Josh, all had it at 10. I also had it at 10. Maybe just a little bit of the overplayed factor for me that happened. Kevin took his headset off. I need to tell him something. In the chat, we have Jeff Brewer saying, Two Live Crew stole the lick for Ain't Talking About Love. Kevin Brown, also check your Facebook Messenger messages, please.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that. The Two Live Crew sample of Ain't Talking About Love for the Fuck Shop. Great sample. Heard that?
Two Live Crew is brilliant, I tell you. They just Pot of Thunder just did an episode on Banned in the USA from the Two Live Crew. So
hell yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, time to
I just found out I interviewed a guy who wrote a book on Toto and their song Georgie Porgy. I always knew it from MC Light. It was a song called George, what was it? Lonesome George, or whatever the fuck it was called, MC Light. And the author was laughing at me. I'm like, I didn't know, man. I just thought it was MC Light.
Eric, you got to tell people what's the title of that book, though?
Oh, the title is great. Yeah, Toto, the band, not the dog.
Oh, shit.
It's an important distinction. And I can't believe you brought that up. It's my parents love Toto. That's their favorite song by them is Georgie Porgy. And I go, that is the stupidest name for a song I've ever heard.
Really
and then I heard the song and it's like, that's your favorite of Toto's?
I know it's weird. It's like it's not a rock and roll song title by any means. One song that I never knew from Toto, and we'll get back to Van Halen. I'm sorry, but Mushanga is a song that I was on. It's off like their fifth album or something. It's fucking great. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. And listen, Steve Lukather was Eddie's friend, so
yeah,
there's a tie-in.
And he was on 2 Van Halen albums, unlike any other outside musicians. So we can talk all the Toto you want tonight.
that's right. God damn it!
Hold the line, and we'll go forward.
Nice, played very well.
That's the best Toto, anyway.
Hold the line. And there's a live version that Eddie kicks ass on that. You guys ever see that on YouTube?
Oh, I never did.
No.
I think it was the Porcoro tribute show after he passed.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like an extended jam
wow.
at the end. Yeah.
All right.
Should still be on.
If that's on YouTube, I will find it. So
we find a way to string Toto together with Van Halen.
There it is. So we come to lucky number 7. At this point, I'm really not sure what to guess because I can make a guess. I think this is probably where we find You Really Got Me.
Eruption.
Eruption.
Comet Punk.
I'm with Mark.
Really I think maybe You Really Got Me too. And again, not where I had it, but I think possibly.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
You got her.
Look at that.
You Really Got Me comes in at number 7. They do Kinks better than the Kinks. 105 total points. Somebody had this ranked number 1 in their rankings, and somebody had this ranked dead last in their rankings. Audience put it 8th. God, love this fucking cover. This is amazing.
This is this is like really the first instance of Van Halen demonstrating, hey, we can do covers, but like, look how we put a fresh spin on it, or we put the Van Halen stamp on it. And it would not be the last. They would go on to do more that I think just vastly improve it. Not to say that the original version of You Really Got Me is trash, but they Van Halenized the song, and it amplified it. It could be a generational thing or just a preference thing, but I'm going to go over to the one steaming about this, I'm sure. Kevin Brown, go ahead, lay it on us.
Yeah, no, I had it at number 6. So only one position higher than it finished. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Van Halen are the only rock band that have got any business covering the Kinks. They do it phenomenally the 2 times we hear it on record. I would love to hear, I was talking about this on Dive It Down. If they'd done a full side of Kinks covers and then put the originals on the other side, I think that would have been a neat concept and it would have been super cool. I think the rough edges of this song really suit the rough edges of Ross's voice. He sounds really good on this. He obviously gets the bones of the song. Love the melodic solo, and yeah, it's just a bop. It's just a jam, man. I love this song. I love the song, and I love Van Halen's version of it. So,
well, there you go. Look at that. I too had this at number 6, by the way. So number 7 overall ranks. I think that's respectable. Chaz, do you agree?
Oh yeah, man. God, yeah. This is one, like I said, I had to give up. It came in at number 10. That doesn't mean anything. It's an A. Slightly A-, I guess, and I don't know why. I can't justify that. It's just it had to go somewhere, and it's a a more overt cover than Ice Cream Man. That's why it ended up where it is. But shit, this is fucking musical caffeine, man. Fucking love this song. Just the other night, and in fact at practice, we were just standing around, getting ready to warm up and everything, and somebody just did something, and I went dun 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 dun, and we went through the whole song. And we've never played it, right? It's just one of those songs. Everybody knows it, especially if you're a musician. So love it.
Catchy hooks. It's got hooks. So that's what we love about it.
And I agree with Kevin in terms of what they did with the Kinks stuff. I would love to hear them do more Kinks. Yes, absolutely. They're best fucking cover band in the world.
Eric, I'm sure you've got some perspective on You Really Got Me. Lay it on us. Where did you have it?
Dave said they learned 15 Kinks songs back in the day.
Ah, damn.
15. He picked up the K-Tel best of like 30 songs. They learned
That's
all.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
This is if looking at it objectively, it's extremely important again, and I put it at number 6. It's the song that broke them. So you have to give it up, for that. I'm burned down on it. Yeah. I played it in my radio days every friggin' night for a decade, so it was like I'm but now that I listen to it, getting separation from it, it's just a kick-ass version of a song that was already great. So there's that great story too, Dave Davies, when they were touring in the late 70s, and after one of the shows here in the States, kid comes up to him. He's like, "Oh, I love that the way you guys did Van Halen's. You really got me." He's like, "Thanks." I wrote it, but but that's how good it was. It was just so fucking good. So, but I put it at 6.
Mm-hmm.
Put it at 6.
Darren,
and the song you ever heard on the radio, by the way, real quickly. That's the first song ever heard. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's cool.
Special place. Darren, can you confirm that You Really Got Me's Van Halen's edition kicks ass?
Yeah, now I'm going to contradict myself in the same sentence and go, I ranked it as number 1 on this album, but I never need to hear it ever again in my life. If that makes sense. Because I think if you were trying to convert somebody, say, under the age of 30 to Van Halen, I think that this is the song you'd first play them and win them over, because it's very concise. It kind of has everything that they'd want to see. Like, this is a great song, but it's a virtuoso guitar player and there's attitude. But I've heard it so many times, I don't ever need to hear it again. So it goes both ways.
Burnout does happen. Burnout's a thing, so can't fault anybody for it. That's, I mean, probably why this was my number 6, because the other songs I'm less burnout on. So,
well, to add one more thing, sorry to
go ahead.
You, Mark, but this song also survived into the Van Hagar era and the Van Cherone era as well.
Right.
So, and then when Dave performs, when he did his charity, or I shouldn't say charity, when he did his corporate gigs in the last few years, and he was just doing 3 songs, it was this, Jump, and I think Panama. So I think that says a lot as to how he ranks this song in the Van Halen catalog.
It probably helps also that the compromise being, well, Van Halen didn't write it, so like I can perform it, right? Like, it's like I've got no personal ties to the creators of this song. It's like, so that's how we justify it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I think that speaks volumes about this version and how.
Interesting point though, Darren. Like, that's a great podcast topic idea. Like, if you were to introduce Van Halen to somebody 30 or under 30, what's the first song you would choose?
Oof.
Ice Cream Man.
Without You.
Jump.
Once.
Cathedral.
Probably Jump. Yeah, I don't know.
Jump. I was thinking Jump. I mean, if you really want to,
I would say Panama.
If they're mainstream and Panama,
I think Panama. Yeah.
Hot for Teacher or Panama.
Big Fat Money, maybe.
Maybe Ain't Talking About Love.
Up for Breakfast.
Yes.
Definitely. Yep. Up for Breakfast.
Spanked.
Damn, baby.
Actually, no. I would play When It's Love and say, like, see, isn't it awesome? Aren't those vocals great? Anyway,
you want to hear that? I'll blow your mind right now. Okay, that's the song that really got me into Van Halen. Like, it was that summer when it was.
You talked about it.
What?
So I was like, this is fucking cool. This song. And the solo by Eddie was like, okay, this dude can fucking play. And I remember Jump, and I remembered all that. Then I just invested all my time into Van Halen. So
there you go. Hagar showed you the way with Eddie's help.
Well, I think
and then I became obsessed with Roth after that, to the point where all my friends couldn't stand me anymore.
That's the Roth effect.
That is
my college book. Got a picture of Dave with no fucking shirt on.
Darren, can you confirm that's the Roth effect?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't want to speak with me because they know that David Lee Roth is going to have the conversation. But then it flipped where I don't want to talk about David Lee Roth any more than I ever have to. So it is polarizing. I relate to Eric.
Do you want some neat trivia, Corey, on this one?
Sure.
So it's the most played Van Halen song. It's the most played live song other than the guitar and drum solo. Also the song that the Kinks played most live.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. This song was my introduction to the Kinks. I didn't really know the Kinks until I heard this, and I looked, the Kinks, and then I got into. Then you hear Lola and All Day and All the Night and Come Dancing and Father Christmas and cool stuff like that. Like, the Kinks are a pretty good band. Van Halen was my introduction to them.
3,828 times by 351 artists. It was a popular song.
It's a popular song. There you go. It's still. I think the Van Halen version is still my favorite. I had it ranked number 4. It's not overplayed for me. I can listen to this every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But that's going to bring us down to number 6. And Mark, you're going to recognize this one because we just covered this on the podcast. It's the final one we covered off of this album. Little thing called Atomic Punk. the Marvel origin story for the David Lee Roth superhero character. 117 points. 2 people had this ranked second on their ballot. 2 people had this ranked dead last. Currently, you notice the asterisk there. Currently, it's in first place. The poll is still open on Atomic Punk, though. As of recording, though, it was at 96.1%. What Dreams Are Made Of, 3.9%. The Dream Is Over. So, if those results hold, it will be the number 1 ranked track off of Van Halen 1.
Yeah. I throw it over to Darren. Darren, what are your thoughts on Atomic Punk? Where did it fall in line?
It's the middle for me. It's number 7. It's good. It's a classic and all that. But something I'm curious if any of you know about this or heard about this. I remember this interview about 20 years ago that the band The Offspring did. And they were saying, we just discovered the worst song we've ever heard. And it's called Atomic Punk by Van Halen. And we're going to cover it on our next tour. Okay, did The Offspring ever cover Atomic Punk? I never thought to follow up on that.
I will be honest, I don't have their entire catalog memorized, but I listened to a lot of the Offspring in the 90s. I don't recall them ever doing Atomic Punk, unless they did a cover of it that is so, like, not even the same structure as Atomic Punk. They punkified it, I guess, more Offspring style, but that's a guess. But to my knowledge, no, I don't think they ever did.
Not on
and
the set list
also, I wonder if they said that just to be trolling the audience.
Yeah.
You know, the rock fans out there.
In that era, Van Halen was not cool. You know, when you look at the Van Halen cool radar, I mean, the 2004 Sammy reunion tour, they were not cool. So, if anything, I would believe that they just thought that they'd heard the worst song. But I listen to that song and you go, what makes that the worst song?
Right.
Do we have anyone who ranked it as like number 10 or 11?
Yeah, we have 2 people that ranked Atomic Punk 11th. Heath McCoy was one, and Jay Steyer was the other one who ranked.
Wow, Heath put this last?
He did, yeah.
Wow.
It's a fucking wrestling song, Heath. What the hell?
Yeah, I would never put money on that.
No.
That AI image, I believe Scott Monroe sent us of the Atomic Punk character is truly horrifying. But thank you for that. Eric Sinich, what do you seem baffled that someone would put this at 11th? Where did you place Atomic Punk?
Yeah. I mean, I have it at 8, but I love this fucking song though. That's the thing, and these lyrics are some of the best lyrics that Dave ever wrote. On every wall and place, my fearsome name is heard. That's fucking awesome. This is a fucking badass tune. And I mean, Eddie on all these tracks, he's kicking ass, but he's got that, you know, like you're brushing your teeth. Yeah, man, I just it's so hard to rank these songs where I ranked them towards the bottom just because they're all so fucking awesome. But yeah, Atomic Clock, I mean, it's not a single, it's not anything like that, but it's a statement that, you know, this band was hard and heavy, and this is at a time when disco is big, and you know, punk, you know, I mean, so Atomic Punk.
This was the antidote.
Yeah, man. So
the antidote to disco, right?
Yeah, no, number 8 for me.
Right on. Chaz Mataz, how feel you on Atomic Punk?
Again, this is definitive. This song's a fucking nuclear explosion of raw power, man. This is number 4 for me. And it's just because it's top of the list on this album of great fucking tracks. The whole thing, as Eric said, is perfect. But this one was just masterclass, dude, in terms of just defining the metal that was to come in this whole genre. It really, especially with the hand scratch, you know, just scratching his palm across the strings over the pickup. It's all he was doing. But just the way he could do it with the speed and the statico, and the way he can make that just, you know, make musical sense and work in this framework. And like Eric said, fucking Ross lyrics again, like this album, man, they were fucking working. They delivered the goods. You know, this was fine.
And he's not
product.
like mechanical on that too. He throws in his little
yeah.
You know, like it's just
yeah. And you watch
so
videos of that over the years, man. He is fucking consistent with that, man. That is definitely that's his pattern. And if you don't do it right, you can definitely tell. Yeah.
Just ferocious, man. Ferocious energy.
Yep.
Is the Atomic Punk is it too high or too low for you, Kevin Brown?
Spot 2. Yeah, I had it at number 5.
Okay.
And it's been climbing my rankings more and more since I started listening to the podcast and got back into Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I go back to and I like a little bit more every time I listen to it. And it's got, I kind of get little early Iron Maiden or, new wave British heavy metal vibes from it. And of course it predates Maiden, but nonetheless, I love the kick crash pushes that Al does. And Chaz, you said Jamie might be Dave's best lyric. I think this one's in the conversation as well. And the other thing I get from this too is I don't know if any of you are gamers, but if you've ever played the game Batman Arkham Asylum, this song should be on the fucking soundtrack. I think it's just such a great moody vibe. Yeah,
have to get permission from Alex.
It's not weird enough, because Arkham Asylum gets weird. But I get what you mean. Yeah, this was my number 7, and again, it's not indicative of like how good or how bad it is. It's just it had to go somewhere. But I really, really dig it. I dig just the pace of the song. I really, as Corey and I just were remarking, these are some of Dave. They might not be Dave's best lyrics, but I think they're some of his best ones because he's telling a very clear, precise story of the Atomic Punk, as it were. And just everything about this song just screams like party Van Halen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like party your ass off, hard hitting, high octane tunes. That's what you want. This is a primo example of what Van Halen is all about, and I think it's an example of what Van Halen was like, during the Roth years. If you made the Roth years compilation, that's not a best of. It's like maybe just like 5 or 6 songs. I think Atomic Punk has a good argument as to why it belongs on that particular list.
Absolutely.
If you look at the picture of Eddie on the front of that album, that look on his face is this song. Like he's fucking just pissed. Just that's the fucking raw rage. And Alex's cymbal work too is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a song called Atomic Punk, it is quite metal. So I'm very dig it a lot.
It's almost got a Dio feel to the lyric, hey? Like it's got that same sort of darkness that Dio brought into a lot of his writing.
If only Dave had incorporated like a journey to a mountain to find like a sword or something, then I'd be like, yep, that's Dio right there. That's
I wonder, do you hear a little Black Sabbath in there maybe too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some Ione in there, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that theme
just
though,
faster.
Mark. But that theme is the theme of the original, like I think it was, what was the song that ended up on House of Pain. There was a weird lyric where he went to the mountain and he right? The original, the demo of that.
Something like that. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So
like Hall of the Mountain King kind of shit. Yeah.
Good call on the Dio and Maiden sort of connection there. Just it does. It very much sounds like it. But Corey, did you talk about Atomic Punk?
Yeah, I had this one 9th. Really, really dig it a lot. I want to call the 2 people who had this second, actually, 2 very beloved patrons of ours, Michael Griffith and Matt Lacoste, had this one number 2 on their rankings. And while you guys were talking, I was trying to look up if the Offspring ever did Atomic Punk, and Scott Everett kind of backed me up here. I couldn't find anything with them playing Atomic Punk, but they did play Panama and Eruption as part of a medley that included like Tom Sawyer and Sweet Child of Mine and a bunch of other things. So they have been known to do the odd Van Halen cover, just haven't found anything on Atomic Punk yet.
Got it.
I think they were trolling.
But at the same time, their drummer for a long time was Josh Freese, and one of his favorite bands ever is Van Halen. So who knows?
Yeah.
And he got to play Van Halen at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert with Wolfie and Dave. And
that's right.
That dude is a monster behind the kit. He's just so good.
All right. Well, speaking of monsters, we have our number 5 song here. Any guesses what's coming in at number 5? This one kind of surprised
me.
You said a monster, so I'm assuming like Running with the Devil.
Running with the Devil. Yep.
I think overplaying and burnout has caused this one to drop for people.
Yeah. See, I removed myself from the burnout factor. Otherwise, I would have been
me too.
Yeah. Little Dreamer would have been everybody's number 1, but no, I didn't mean by chart position.
Right.
Just in terms of Van Halen-ness. Feel Your Love Tonight comes in at number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Love the melodies on this one. 120 total points. One person said this was their favorite track off of Van Halen. 2 people said this was the 10th best track on the album. Audience had this ranked number 2. It was number 1 for the longest time until Atomic Punk came around. So we'll see. Maybe Feel Your Love Tonight will reclaim the top spot when it's all said and done. But for right now, as we record tonight, 93.5%, What Dreams Are Made Of puts Feel Your Love Tonight in the number 2 hole for the audience.
And how about you?
I dig the fuck out of this song. I love those harmonies. It was my number 5, actually, and only because there was 4 that you, I think, legally have to put ahead of this one. But I love everything about this track. This is Van Halen to me in one song. It's fucking perfect. Who and a little Beatles callback too.
This was this. I actually thought I was going to experience a lot of shit on this, because I thought I'm gonna have this ranked fairly low, but I guarantee you the audience will probably rank it lower, and much to my surprise, they did not. This is my number 8, only because I love this song. To me, this is one of those like quintessential Van Halen songs that help get me into like early fandom, you know, because of the radio play and the fact that this does come from their debut album. As we said, like this whole album was almost all hits, just in terms of radio play and things like that. This was no exception. I never change this song when it's on. I sing it as loud as I possibly can. I try to match Mikey's harmonies because they're beautiful and they're awesome, and Michael Anthony, we're big fans. But this song, it rocks, man. Again, this album's full of bangers and so many examples of what we think of when we think Van Halen party rock. I think Feel Your Love Tonight belongs in that category as well. So yeah, no hate whatsoever because it's at number 8. It had to go somewhere, and I had bigger connections to some of the other ones. But Kevin Brown, how do you feel about Your Love Tonight?
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I mean, the big, gorgeous harmonies, the melody's fantastic. And you can kind of see why this band pricked up Gene Simmons' ears, right? Because this is what Kiss would sound like if Kiss could write good songs. It's got
fuck.
Shots fired.
No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, what I love about it too is it's kind of got a country flavor to it. It's got a weird little twang to it that I'd like to hear a honky tonk, really good greasy honky tonk band do this one, because I think they could pull it off.
No, you don't. No, you don't want to hear that. You absolutely do not want to hear. I know you think you do. You don't.
No,
you don't want to hear it.
A good honky tonk band, Mark.
Maybe you didn't hear me. You don't want to hear it.
He even sounds like he's from Nashville when he's saying that. He is like really.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. I think it was my number 7, but like I said, I mean, I was absolutely nailed on for my first place and my last place. And then the 1 to 7, 2 to 8, I was like, geez, I could put these in any order depending on what I'm feeling on the day, right? So it's number 7, but there's not really a big difference between this and my number 3. So,
fair enough. Darren Paltrowitz, how about you?
I had this at the ranking that your wonderful fans, followers, listeners, Patreons, etc. ranked it at. I don't think it's an overexposed song. I think it's an underexposed Van Halen song. It's not the best lyrical move by Dave, but it's nice on the ears.
It is nice on the ears, except for the lyrical moves, as you say. But we'll move past that. Eric Sinich, tell us about how you feel about Feeling Your Love Tonight.
I had it at 10 out of 11.
Why do you hate it?
I don't. No, I love it. No, it's I guess because of the lyrics, maybe I push it down a little bit more, but it's got that great, especially when you get to the main chorus and Eddie and the harmonies, and it's a great high school era backyard party song. It's like, I could just see the girls, wishing Dave was singing it to them, and the guys, feeling like, yeah, man, I'm gonna feel some love tonight. I'm gonna get some action. But no, I put it lower down. Only I'm more towards like the heavier, aggressive songs. I put more up top, plus combined with the songs that became huge hits that just make this album, timeless. So
fair call. When I was in high school, my high school parties, if you played "Feel Your Love Tonight," it would just be met with blank stares.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you guys got no taste in this place.
Yeah.
No taste. But sometimes Chaz has taste. Chaz, how do you feel about this one?
Man.
Now I'm feeling like a creepy old man, so we play this. We still play it in our band. Yeah, so a bunch of 54-year-old guys and older playing, I can't wait to feel your love tonight. So
Chad's like, well, could you though? Just a bit?
No,
I
need some
17
aspirin
by
first.
Winger.
I need some assistance off the stage.
Tonight.
Don't sue me. No. We like we play it. It's a great song. It's total party rock, as everyone said. This is like total infectious groove, man. Just like and like you said, having another genre or another type of band play it. When you're picking this song out, this is just so fluid. It has such great feel. The way Ed builds the whole progression from beginning to end. The solo. Oh, love playing this fucking solo. Just the and the way everybody comes together, the harmonies. This is quintessential Van Halen. Don't Shoot Me. It came in at number 9 because, there's so many great songs above it.
Understandable. So we have entered the top 5, which means it's time to go to number 4. This one, it gets real interesting.
That's right. But before we do, I just wanted to point out that one person had this ranked number 1. That was our good buddy Tom Armbruster. Had this number 1. That's right.
I get it.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see if everyone agrees with this one. I believe somebody on the call had this one ranked number 1. Oh, and Kevin Brown is throwing his arms in the air because he's the one, literally, who put this one number 1. I'm the one. 131 points. 4 people ranked this as the best track off of Van Halen 1. One person ranked it 10th. The audience had this one ranked 4th. I'm the one at number 4. I tell
Kevin, let us hear about it.
I think I've said before, I think this is probably what I regard as the single best performance on guitar that's ever been captured on record. Like when you listen to that isolated guitar, which I do at least once a month, it's mind-bending how good it is. And he never drops a beat. He's going into lead, he's playing rhythm, he's coming off the rhythm, he's syncopating. It's insane how good it is. Like no human being should be able to do that, and let alone, how old was he? What, 24? 23, 24 when he wrote and recorded that? It's absolutely fucking bananas. The breakdown's amazing. I mean, everything about it is, I just love this song. And when I rediscovered it through this podcast, I was like, why has this not been in my life why have I not been listening to this every day for the last 20 years? Perfection, absolute perfection. It's the best they ever did of this hyper boogie style. I think I don't think they ever got anywhere near this one again.
Bold words. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. I'm the one that put this number 10. Again, there's no such thing as a bad song on this album. They had to go somewhere. As I mentioned, based these rankings on like how this made me feel like overall in the journey. I'm the One is great. It's a great song. Everything Kevin said is not incorrect whatsoever. I believe someone in the chat even said Kevin is correct.
Yep.
It is quite the banger. It's fire the whole time. I picture Eddie literally just playing flames and coming out with this song. It's awesome. I just don't have a great, tremendous attachment to it in the ways that I felt about some of the other songs. So it had to go somewhere. So it was number 10 for me. But again, this song rips. Corey, what about you?
I'm the one who was number 6. And again, it's just because everything is so close. This is an A+ song. Love everything about it. Kevin mentioned he was one of the folks that listed this number 1. Also, Jeff Brewer had this one number 1. Josh Caldwell had this one number 1. And Matt Lacoste were the other folks who had this one ranked number 1.
Fair enough. But Eric, would you didn't put this as your number 1? Where'd you put this one?
No, that's my number 1. I had at 4. And it's one of my top level songs from the Dave era. And when they brought it back in 2007, I was like, oh, fucking thank you. It's such a fucking great song. And I sometimes just like try to close my eyes and imagine them at Sunset Sound recording this, and Templeman and Don Lindy just like fucking jaws dropped, like, oh my fucking God, this band is like, you know what I mean? Like just, and it's that the boogie, boogie, that classic Van Halen boogie sound, and they're all just like they're in such a groove. Like that one part where it's like Dave's going, ow, ooh, ow, like all of them are just like boom, 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 like just in lockstep, and this is perfection, man. Van Halen perfection right here.
Boom stuff.
Have I imagined this, Eric or Darren? I don't know if you guys know, but I think I read somewhere that they did that. Basically, they rocked up and Ed did 3 takes of this straight through, and they just picked sort of. They said, "Well,
Oh,
which one do you think?"
I'm trying to remember. That's possible. I mean, I wouldn't even be shocked if it was one take, with
Yeah,
Eddie, but yeah, I mean, most of that, a lot of that stuff on that album is very raw, like maybe the first, like second, third take or whatever. And um, again, you look at those pictures of that studio too, and they were all in the same room looking at each other,
yeah.
which Dave talked about how important that was, just to be able to like, feel like everybody's in the same room with you, and it just has that live feel. And I don't think they ever had a bad performance of the song live, during the original run, and then when Wolfie was in the band.
Darren, how does I'm the One grab you?
So, compliment here to Kevin Brown. I hadn't really thought about this. And had I thought about this, I would have ranked it higher. And that's what a guitar performance. Sometimes, what I was telling you before about Jamie's Crying, listened to it a trillion times, just thought it was a cool song. And then when I heard the rock and roll rumba thing, I went, wait, this is a totally original thought. The way that Kevin just described it, I never really thought about the guitar performance before. The song itself is not the greatest melody. It's not the greatest hook. It's not the most listenable in that end. But from the guitar part and the musicianship, it's a 10 out of 10. So, middle of the road Van Halen, and I guess bad Van Halen, still great, great music. But it's not one of my favorite Van Halen songs, if that makes sense.
It's a great opening line in this too, though, right? It's like such a great "fuck you" line. We came here to entertain you. Leaving here, we
Oh
aggravate you.
yes.
That's just so good.
Oh my God. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is such a fucking awesome Diamond Dave line.
Yeah.
Yeah. The isolated track is available online too, which is really cool.
It is. I mean, if you've never heard it, listen to it front to back. It's just astounding. It'll just blow your mind.
Yeah.
And there is no punching in there. That literally is one. It's just one take. It's crazy. Sorry.
Tell us about your thoughts on I'm the One.
That's fine. I mean, it's a powerhouse, man. That the solo, as you said, the performance is blistering in this one. The speed, the precision, just the when he's getting. I mean, there's certain parts in that thing where he's just so fucking lightning fast. There was nothing like it prior to this. That's the thing. He was setting land speed records for what he was fucking doing on the fretboard when this came out. Right. This is why it got everybody's attention. So yeah, for me, like for several reasons that individuals here have thrown out. It's not the most listenable on the album. For me, it's like hardcore metal. This is again another one of those when we talk about what defined their take on the metal sound. This fucking song is just a ripper. And it's just to me, it's between Eddie and fucking Roth. They own this from start to finish. Fucking chorus. I mean, I'm the one. I mean, just you gotta love this song for all the right reasons when it comes
The
to Van
solo.
Halen. So yeah, the solo is just fucking killer. And the fact that was just, whether it was, like Dave said, they used to go back and do the, cutting and snipping on Ed's solos, and then he'd have to go fucking learn them, and that's why he was insane because they would take part from there, part from here, part from here, and just bring it all together. And Ed's like, "What the fuck was that?" So I don't know if this was one of those, but it sounds to me like it was captured live, like it was just rapid fire. And like you said, if the isolated track's out there, I'm gonna go listen to that. That's
when you
one
listen
of
to
his
it,
best
Chaz,
solos.
as a guitar player, Chaz, and Mark as well, it's kind of like it's almost like the Gretzky thing. They said Gretzky never used to look around because he just knew where everyone was on the ice.
Mhm.
Eddie Van Halen knows exactly where the one is at all times, and he knows exactly how to get there, and he never misses it. It's just the clinical nature of how he hits it, but still has the swing and the groove. Man alive!
Oh, if anyone had their the blueprint of the guitar fretboard, in the fretboard and like everything just memorized down pat, it was him. Because he just made the guitar his bitch and do whatever he wanted it to do. So
yeah, I mean, his brother would, as much as his brother loved playing the drums, like even Al would be out going to a party every now and then, but Eddie was just like, no, you go ahead. I'll be in my bedroom.
Yeah. Right. Sitting on his bed, learning these songs. Yeah.
I love that Kevin Brown was getting some props here tonight for his musical knowledge. It just goes to prove that even a broken clock is right twice a day. So.
Jeez, no mercy.
Did you say clock? Oh, clock.
Yeah, I said clock. No.
Did you hear about his reduxing of Van Halen 3 that's made the thing trend after 26 years? Did you hear about
everywhere.
that? Okay.
It was on everywhere.
And that son of a bitch removed Eddie's voice and his vocals from How Many Say I.
I know.
I mean, that's fucked up.
Hey, Chaz, for season 4, can you do regarding Corey Morissette? You listen so I don't have
to. Touche.
Oh man, what a spectacular series that would be. Though.
I swear to God, in Donald Trump's speech at the Republican National Convention, he talked about Kevin Brown ruining Van Halen 3.
Oh, did he mention it in there?
Did,
That's cool. That's great.
Fucking A.
Not surprised.
No, not a shocker.
Making Van Halen great again.
That's right.
Want to thank Kevin Brown.
Yeah, big supporter of the of Mr. Trump. But speaking of big surprises, how about this at number 3? First song we ever covered on this little podcast here. One of the most iconic songs in the Van Halen catalog, Running with the Devil, comes in at number 3. 153 total points. 3 folks ranked this as the best track on Van Halen's debut record. One person ranked it 9th. Audience put it 7th. Our Patreons and our special guests put it at 3.
This at 7. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, being burnt out and overplaying, that's one thing, but I don't know, sometimes there are songs, in my opinion, that are almost immune to that, or at least they feel like they should be, and the argument can be made for Panama and Running with the Devil, I think, but that's just me. I had this at my number 3 just because there are literally 2 other songs that have significant importance to me above this one, but Running with the Devil is there's a reason why it was so popular. Like there's a reason why this song resonated, and why it to this day it's one of their most popular songs. I mean, like it's just a cool story, and it's a cool song, and it really just again just demonstrates the power and the tenacity of Van Halen and what they were going to bring to the world musically after this album. It's like, this is what we got. This isn't all we got, but like this is giving you a taste of what we're about. And it's just how do you not fall in love with a band like that sounds like that? Banger after banger, dude. I could go on and on and on, but I won't. Eric Sinich, take it away. Running with the Devil. Did this make it further down your list, or is it a little top tier? 2?
Right towards the top 2. And this is, if you put this up against I'm the One, and so you got the jaw-dropping shit that Eddie does on that. And then here, this is the example that I bring up so many times, the craftsmanship of the music, and you could credit Eddie and you can credit Templeman and Dave, and it's a simple chord progression. It's not Eddie playing a million notes. And this is what he could do. And this is what made Van Halen so great and sets them apart from a lot of the bands that would come out in the 80s that just felt like they had to do exactly like what Eddie did with all this shit and play as many notes as you can. This is songwriting right here. This is like crafting a song. And it's just that, and it's iconic too, because it's like it's an arena rocker. It's like the fist pumper. It's, the Running with the Devil part. And then the simple bass line to start, but it's fucking perfect, man. It's and the smart move to put the horns that were on House of Pain on the demo, Gene Simmons demo, and put them on here, is like the finishing touch,
Sometimes less is more and more is more. Darren, Running with the Devil, where do you stand with it?
I had it at number 5. It's a totally original musical thought. I don't ever need to hear it ever again in my life. I've heard it all the time. But going in a different direction, the David Lee Roth soundboards that were on the early internet all came from this song.
Yes.
Right.
A great recommended piece of internet content related to Van Halen. If you dig through the Instagram account of Ryan Wheeler. He's Dave's still current bass player, if you want to call it a current. If you don't count like inactivity, yeah, he's still Dave's bass player. But he, before he got the Dave gig, he will play hey, here's me playing this song. There's a thing of him just playing the bass line of Running with the Devil on his Instagram. I think that's hilarious because what's the bass line? Chaz, you're a musician's musician here. What's the bass line to Running with the Devil?
Oh, I would just love to see Lee Sklar do it. I think he could do it with some finesse. I just think, riding that out. Bow, 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 bow.
On his fan fret Dingwall bass. Yeah.
And I find it funny he didn't delete that video after he got the Roth gig. But yeah, it's a timeless song. I would arguably, what I was saying before, if you were trying to turn on somebody who's younger to Van Halen and go, this is one of the greatest bands of all time, check out this. I probably second or third would show them Running with the Devil because it's a complete thought.
Fair enough.
I just don't need to hear it again.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, fair.
Fair
Again,
enough.
that's sometimes burnout is not immune for a lot of people. So I get it. I definitely get it. Chaz, how about you? Did Running with the Devil just burn you out too much?
Oh, I mean, I had a hell of a ride with this song. I love this song, ever since it came out. For me, it came in on the list at 6, but that's just because things had to come in above it. It's, to me, it's just timeless. The bass line that we're making fun of there, to me, has become as iconic, with the horn and the bass line, as iconic as like Halford driving out on stage on a fucking Harley Davidson. I mean, in terms of, defining the genre, and, just like this banging opener with the way that they used to flash the lights like they were the lights of cars, right? And then like that whole fucking aesthetic and the power. This is one though that I think, a couple of times I saw some live recordings that I think that, like, if you're off on this one, and this is why I don't like playing it in my band, because if you're off on this one, it doesn't sound right. And you can kind of tell immediately. There was like, this song is just so particular, again, probably because of the whole overplayed factor and because of its status and all that. But this is one I kind of shy away from and like don't advocate playing, just because of all their numbers that, all their classic numbers. I think this was one that they stumbled a couple times pulling off live for whatever reason. Just don't know. And it's just because they needed to be so tight on this one. And if they were off on any given night for any given reason, you could tell on this one.
Kevin Brown, how do you feel about Running with the Devil?
I had it at number 4. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the. I think it's probably one of the first songs I heard in the Roth era, because obviously I came into Van Halen via Hagar. But Chaz, I was just to what you were talking about there. The tempo in this song, has to be exactly this. If you play it like 2 BPM faster, you just lose the heart and soul of it, because it's all about the groove, right?
Yep.
And I think, again, I mean, Eric, I think you're absolutely spot on. Is the thing that I've got most from, listening to this podcast, getting back into Van Halen, is you sort of forget how good a composer Eddie was. Knowing when he needs to do the shredding, knowing when he can put a lick or a riff, knowing when just to sit back and let the bass or let Dave take over, and having that sense of melody and interconnectedness of all the parts of a song. And this is a perfect example of it. I mean, there's so much space in this song, and I love it when you get a band who's not afraid to leave a little bit of quiet here and there. It's fantastic.
For you wrestling fans of the 90s, you might remember a wrestler by the name of Wrath in WCW who used this horn intro to this song for his entrance music. Just always thought that was a hilarious connection. Corey, how about you? How do you still feel, or how do you feel after all this time with Running with the Devil?
Well, this is the one, Mark, that you and I agreed on. This is the one that we got exactly right. We both ranked this 3 along with the patrons. I love everything about Running with the Devil. Everyone covered it much better than I did. But I was going to say this exact thing that Josh Caldwell said in the chat. B string slightly detuned to get the proper intonation on the triads. That's exactly what I was thinking. I've never picked up a guitar in my life, but I knew exactly what he's talking about with the whole...
You were there.
Yeah, the whole intonation on the gonads. I'm right there with you. It totally makes all the sense.
It's good. Look at you with your guitar lingo.
I'm learning.
Perfect.
I'm learning after 143
because he's spending
episodes.
So much time with Brown.
That's right. Kevin can't teach you anything except, how to be short and miserable.
Jesus. He's been hanging out with me too much then, if that's the case.
Kevin is the man. And actually, the reason why Kevin's here, Kevin's going to be on our wrap-up show next week. So I was going to give him tonight off, but Eric Senich said, I'm not coming on unless Kevin Brown is on. It was part of his rider. So in order to get Eric Senich, I had to get Kevin Brown on. So
you see,
absolutely,
that's the deal moving forward. We come as a package. We didn't tell you this yet. Yeah, that's just all podcast appearances from now on. It's me and Eric.
Yeah,
that's just how much you mean to people.
All right, guys. Well, guess what? Top 2. We have one of the most iconic songs in the Van Halen catalog, and maybe the best guitar solo ever committed to tape. So
this is already the highest ranked instrumentalist.
That's right.
Wherever it falls,
by
pretty
far.
Amazing.
So let's go around the horn. Excuse me. Let's start with Chaz. What do you think is number 2? Which and then would tell us what number 1 is as well.
It is not Eruption.
So you're saying Ain't Talking About Love is number 2?
I think it's number 2.
All right, Mark.
My heart wants Ain't Talking About Love to be number 1, but I'm quite sure Chaz is correct, and I think people probably ranked Eruption above it. So yeah, I think number 2 for this ranking will be Ain't Talking About Love.
All right. Well, your lady is in the chat saying woo, and then woo again, and then wow. So I don't know if she's been visiting Amsterdam or anything tonight, but
she could have just played that off, but she had to just inform you, like, no, not woo, wow. It's like, no, you could have. Oh, babe, just leave it.
Gotta love her. Darren Paltrowitz, what do you think is coming up next? Is it the guitar solo or is it the song?
I think we're going to see Eruption, unfortunately, at number 1. But I think, Mark, your lady friend may have been working the Dave soundboard from Running with the Devil. And that's what was missed in translation.
It was Christy all along. Well, she is a witch, so, you know.
John Drake joins us in the chat and says, Ain't Talking About Love is ranked way too high. Oh, my goodness.
Nah.
Eric Senich, what do you think is coming next? Is Ain't Talking About Love ranked way too high at 1 or 2?
And I'm going to say Ain't Talking is 2.
All right, Kevin Brown, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think Eruption might be number 2 because people just don't tend to rank the instrumentals that high. But I mean, if Eruption's number 1, I wouldn't really be able to argue against it.
All right. Well, everybody said Ain't Talking About Love except Kevin Brown. And remember my comment about a broken clock being right twice a day? It's not right here. Ain't Talking About Love is the number 2 song. According to our patrons and special guests, 170 points. 4 people ranked this number 1. 2 people ranked this as low as number 7. That's the lowest it got. Audience has this one at number 6. So there you go. Ain't Talking About Love, the second ranked song off of the debut record.
I don't know what breaks my heart more, that I knew this would happen and I just didn't want it to, but it did. Or the fact that the audience ranked it so damn low. But again, I don't want to do this because, Corey, how often have you heard me talk about how upset I was going to be if Ain't Talking About Love isn't ranked super high and in the original show?
That's right. It's number 2.
This song means the world to me. Like, this is like this was the song for me in terms of Van Halen. Like, this is it. Like, if my opinion, if using Darren's example, if we're showing like young people an example of Van Halen, give them like a couple songs to choose from, this one, I honestly would be like, if you hate everything else, and you might, this is the one to listen to. Just because that's how strongly I feel about Ain't Talking About Love. I mean, I think it is a perfect introductory song for people if they're not familiar with Van Halen. I think it demonstrates everything we love about Van Halen. It doesn't have like that Van Halen boogie that we do all love so much, but still good enough. It's still a properly Van Halen structured song. And I mean, you could say this was the gold standard of proper Van Halen structured song, whatever that means to you. But I love everything about it. I really do. I love the solo. It's not even too crazy of a Eddie Van Halen solo, really. It just, he plays a solo that fits the song. And concise. This solo absolutely fits the song. It doesn't need to be any flashier than it already is. And it's not even flashy. It's just like, this song is just a demonstration of we're here to stay. Like, we're here in the rock community, It's like, we ain't talking about love. We're talking about fucking rock and roll. That's what we're talking about. So I love it. I wish this was number 1, but What do you do? Kevin, talk to me.
I think it might be. It's in that class of most recognizable riffs of all time.
I think so.
Like with Paranoid, Smoke on the Water, a whole lot of love it because it's really simple, and because of that you can hum it. And if you can hum a guitar riff and it sticks in your shut your fucking face, it just sticks in your brain, right? And the reverb on this also just adds a ton to it. It gives it that sort of that moodiness to it. Great melodic chops in the solo, the harmonics coming out of that section as well. And I love how cool the Frankenstein sounds with all the distortion turned off when you just get that clean tone in the breakdown. It's ain't talking about love, man. It's one of the classics. And I do need to hear this song again and again and again, Darren. I know maybe you've heard it too much now, probably, but...
How about you, Chaz? Tell me about it with your Chazatar going.
It's still in our set list. This fucking song rocks. So simple and everything we said. What Ed could do with an economy of notes, an economy of chords, what he could fucking build and make it so goddamn pristine. The reason I really love this one stand out is the fucking electric sitar going on, the multi-tracking that they did on the solo. It took me years until I found out that that's what was going on, and that's what was making that sound so different. Just like the little thing you can always hear, like the down, 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 down. You can always hear that, or I could always hear it barely, and it always bothered me. And then when I finally figured it out, I was like, "Oh shit, that's great." And then finally got good headphones, and then that's one that, man, the crowd loves it. It's just so immediately fucking definitive Van Halen. For me, it came in at, number 5 because I just have a couple that come in a little bit more above it, but it's A++, man. Fucking defining definitive Van Halen.
Definitive indeed. Darren, would you agree with all of that, or do you have a different perspective?
Agree with pretty much all that. And I have a really positive thing to say about Dave and a kind of negative thing to say about Dave.
Of course.
And the positive
surprise.
I gotta go on brand with the Chazatar. That was the Chazatar that gave those comments, correct?
Yeah, there you go.
The cornrows, chef's kiss. Okay. So with this song, one of the shows that I saw in Vegas.
There he is.
Oh no.
Right back at you.
I don't get it to the point that I love it so much. I don't get it. I love it. Okay. So one of the Dave shows I saw in January 2020 in Vegas, when you're at any kind of a concert, no matter how much you love the artist, there comes that point in the show where, like, after you've lost awareness that you're at the concert, you go, oh yeah, I'm at a concert. Oh yeah, I'm kind of tired. This has been going on a while. That always happens to me. And so you hit that fatigue part of the show. And I lost that fatigue like 3/4 of the set through. Once he started playing and talking about love, you go, oh, he hasn't played that. Oh, wow, that sounds so cool live. You realize it's a totally unique, original thought right there. Now, here's the negative thing about that. So Dave, leading up to the Vegas residency, was doing these audio-based podcasts to promote and hype up the residency for his YouTube channel. And he's talking about how Ain't Talking About Love was his attempt at a Mick Jagger impression. And I hear that and go, what are you talking about? It doesn't sound like Mick Jagger. That's not rhythmically what.
Oh, that's right. He did say that.
Yeah. What is he talking about? Does anyone else hear?
That's what I told you before.
Yeah.
Before.
I can't get no satisfaction, right? Is what he was.
Yeah.
Really?
I think he mentioned.
I think
can't
that's
get no
a
satisfaction.
I mean, I guess if I'm really stretching here, but yeah, I feel like it's a reach.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Nah, man, Jagger's an R&B singer. Like it's
just like I told you before. Yeah, before. Yeah, I've been to the edge.
I could literally think of maybe 5 other vocalists other than Mick Jagger that could put in that place of that. But yeah, I don't know. I agree, Darren. What the hell is he talking about?
I feel it, man.
Did Jim Dandy do it first?
Oh, fuck.
But I think, going back to what we're really here to talk about, iconic riff that stands the test of the time, the production superior. It's really hard to get sick of this song.
Agreed. Only time will stand the test of time. But Eric,
this is one that Darren will allow in his headspace from here into the future. He will.
Well, you should.
Did you ever hear "Ain't Talking About Dub" by Apollo 440?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to. That sounds horrible.
Look it
but
up.
I don't know. I'm scared to. But Eric, you say you spun a lot of Van Halen songs in your radio days. Tell me, was this one among the thousands of spins?
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's a burnout there, but I'll just say this is actually I'll get to Eddie second. Finish with him, but this is what Dave does on this. His vocals are awesome, and Martin Popoff brought this point up. He just wrote the book Van Halen 50. Regardless of whether they needed to do some studio wizardry and take this take and that take and tape it together and work with Dave, blah 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 blah. You don't know that when you're first hearing this album. And like Martin was a kid when he first heard this, knew nothing about Dave, whether he can sing or not. He's owning it. And he owns this song, and his vocals are gritty and they have attitude. And the whole anthemic part of the hey, hey, hey just brings everybody together in concert. It is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So that's, being said, that's just, Dave nails it. But on this song, Eddie, if you strip the vocals, Eddie is communicating with you non-verbally throughout this entire song, from the beginning to where you're just pulled in, like, what is he doing? But then he does these little things of like the wah, 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 and you're just fucking laughing like this fucking guy. And then it's like he's serenading you with the solo. Like he's just like fucking playing, he's just tinkering with everything. Even at the very end, there's a point like during the chorus, you hear him do a little scream with Dave. It's fucking mind blowing. I mean, what he's doing. Again, he is speaking to you directly, non-verbally, and just telling you a story that takes you on this ride of emotion. It's like this one. Then when it slows down, when Dave's doing, I can't, on the edge. I mean, this is fucking like hair standing up right now, just like kind of, reliving it and kind of like thinking about it, because I played this song so many times on the radio, I didn't really think about it. But if you listen to this song closely, it's like a 10. It's
agreed. 10. No lies detected. Corey, finally, do you believe this song should have been number one?
I actually had it at number two, along with the folks, because I don't think you could deny Eruption as being just the greatest guitar solo ever created by man. But somebody, William Conrad, welcome William to the chat, just brought up that Mikey is singing this on the new tour. This is Sammy's refreshment break, where he heads off stage to drink some tequila, and Mikey and the boys are doing Ain't Talking About Love. The clips I saw from the first couple of shows sound amazing. What's everyone's opinion on Mikey doing Ain't Talking About Love? I think it's a natural.
Cool. Sold. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Mikey's not lost a step, right? Mikey's voice is still fucking primo, which is insane.
Now I've heard Sammy do I've heard a live recording of Sammy doing it, and I love his rendition of Ain't Talking About Love. However, if this is gonna be the time where he takes a break, then hell yeah, give it to Mikey. I have no complaints.
Yeah, they need to give him more. They got to give Mikey a few more. I think
my bone, huh?
Unchained, dancing out, just something that
on fire. I'm on fire.
On fire. I mean, really on fire.
Somebody give me a doctor. He's done that before.
Well,
it's amazing.
He can bring that back. Maybe he will. Maybe they'll mix it up. That's
Beautiful Girls.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, man. He has every right to sing any of those songs at this point. He is the sole original member that's out there.
Yeah.
It's funny here because we talk on my Queen podcast a lot about Roger Taylor could have been the lead singer in most rock bands.
So could Brian.
Mikey could have been a frontman in pick your band. I mean, because the guys he can sing lead and he can sing the harmony parts. He can sing high. He can drop down. Like he can do. He's such a talented vocalist that seeing him out front and getting a chance to actually shine like that, it's so gratifying after all these years.
Have you heard Judgment Day? Him and Sammy doing the high note at the end.
Yeah,
unreal.
I mean, He's got, I mean, Mike's now 70, 69, 70. So, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Sammy's tuning down, so there's an adjustment there.
Yeah.
Which actually makes a lot of those songs sound a little bit darker too, like a little bit more of a menacing vibe to them, I think. But yeah, really like pleasantly surprised by how well all of them sound. And Jason Bonham is like fucking nailing it. He's nailing it. And Satriani, I think, is just he's sticking to the bones of the Eddie's riffs, but then he's putting his own feel on the solos, which I think is cool too. Because you can't one person was criticizing him like he's not playing exactly like Eddie. It's like he's not a fucking it's Joe Satriani. He's not a tribute band guitarist.
Well, Eddie didn't play exactly like Eddie. Eddie went and fucking went off in different directions, right?
Right.
I mean,
I think Eddie would be looking down saying, yeah, man, you go do it, do your thing. You know, you're sticking to what I created, but you're doing your thing. You know, yeah, I think it would be insulting for Satriani to sit there and play it note for note. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I think he's earned that right at least.
Agree.
Agree
completely. And it makes it more interesting for us. You know, it's a little flavor to it, you know,
fresh, a little fresh perspective.
Some people are misunderstanding it's best of all worlds, and I get it. It's the name of it's coming off the name of a Van Halen song, but it's the best of all of Sammy's world. So it's like some people are complaining that there isn't more Van Halen in there. I think he's got enough. I mean, but it's not an Eddie tribute to him.
Right.
Exactly. One person said that on YouTube. This is an Eddie tribute. You should be doing more. It's not an Eddie tribute. It's just the closest thing we can get, you know?
Yeah, I think 17 out of 22 songs are Van Halen tunes. Like, you can't have so much more than that.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, hell, I want to hear Montrose. I want to hear Chicken Foot. And then, you know, and I think it's great. Satriani's doing
Satch Boogie.
The Satch Boogie live, man. I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It's all good. Anyway, sorry.
So therefore, this might be the first time. No, it is. This is the first and I guess the only time this has happened where an instrumental track has taken the first spot.
Oh yeah, and what an instrumental it is, though. I mean, my God, you're talking
It's
about
Eruption.
the granddaddy of all instrumentals, Eruption, the #1 song according to our patrons and special guests. 180 points. That's 10 more than Ain't Talking About Love. 7 people had this ranked first, including myself. 1 person had this ranked dead last. He's also on the call. Audience doesn't rank instrumental, so they don't have a ranking on this one. But just going through the folks who had this ranked first, I did. Sean McGinnity also had it. Chris L. from Pot of Thunder put this #1. Eric Senich had this #1. Chaz had this #1, as well as Chad Pollock and Johnny Bean.
I'll go throw it over to old Chaz Charles, man. As a guitar player, Eruption probably has like a huge special place in your heart. Tell us about it.
Oh, holy smokes, man. I mean, Eruption, come on. I mean, this is where, I mean, fucking caffeinated squirrel on a fucking power line. I mean, think about the way he is running up and down that fucking fretboard, right? I mean, holy shit. When this came out, when I heard this, it blew my fucking mind. And it was just like everybody, all of us, this was such a fucking revelation. It was, you know, I mean, all these years, I mean, to me, like the closest thing was at that time, like, you know, Hendrix and really early Clapton was like the closest thing that I had ever heard that sounded anything like that. And then, you know, so many years later, the classical elements of it, it's really like fucking Mozart and fucking Hendrix had a love child that could fucking tap dance on the guitar fucking fretboard. I mean, it was really just fucking amazing, dude. This one was so earth shattering for me. It was transformative. It is #1, period.
1 period. Eric Senich, Eruption. Where does it fall in line for you?
Real quick, I just gotta, before I give you my comments, that this is the quote of the show. What was it? A squirrel on a power line?
On caffeine?
Caffeinated squirrel. Caffeinated squirrel on a fucking power line.
On a power line. Okay, got it. 2 words, game changer. And I love the fact that, like Corey said, this is like the greatest solo of mankind. And I love that it's going to go down in history accompanied with the quotes from Eddie where he just completely downplays it. Like, yeah, he's just had a show coming up at the Whiskey and he just was warming up and nothing big. And I just figured I was just kind of messing around. And then Ted Templeman just said, "What's that?" And he started recording. And then he throws in an additional comment of, "Yeah, and, I made a mistake at." He's just like, "Oh, by the way," you're like, "Yeah, no big deal." I think that just speaks volumes of like how Eddie was and just how humble he was and how down to earth he was. And I mean, because it is a mind-blowing piece of work. And it's got all these elements of like classical and I mean, it's like where did he come up with this? Where like he always said, it's like it would just kind of come through him. And it's obviously it's not a song that has vocals on it, obviously, but its importance, because what it changed everything from that point on. Like how many guitarists in the 80s, were influenced by that, just listening to that, like the first time you've heard it, and then try to put your mind in to 1978 when you've never heard. I mean, now we've heard Eddie a million times, and there's been a lot of guitarists, a lot of great ones like Satriani and Vai and all that. But like, imagine you've only heard up until then the greats like Jimmy Page or Clapton, et cetera, et cetera. But then you hear this, and it's like this guy's it's not even a human being. It's like, how is this even happening? Like, what is this? Like, you could almost think like this has got to be like fake or something. Like nobody really did this, And again, you go all the way back again to like Eddie just being just like, yeah, aw shucks, no big deal. It's just something I was doing,
Yeah.
The solo that launched a million shreds.
No biggie. Yeah, like
I mean, this is the foundation for why we're all here and we love this band. He was and is the engine. And when he died, the engine died, and there's nothing. You cannot take that engine out and put another one in and say, "Let's keep going." He is it. And this is it right here. This is the
often imitated, never duplicated, no matter how many times they try.
I love this comment here from Josh in the chat. Says 1 minute and 42 seconds. That Dutch boy rewrote how the guitar will be seen for millenniums to come.
Rewrote history.
Exactly. Yep. How can you not put this number one? As great as the rest of the album is, how do you not put Eruption number one?
Well, that's I'm gonna throw it over to Darren because I don't believe he put this at his number one.
No, actually, Darren put it last, and there's a call in the chat to have him disconnected from the call immediately.
Take care, huh?
I want to hear him out. I want to hear him out.
Me too. Me too.
Take care, Darren. It's good seeing you, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes. As we say in the Dabbleverse, Gagia. Okay.
Gagia. Oh my God. Oh my God.
When you think about this song. Hey now.
Oh my.
Yeah, George Takei. Anyway, when you think about this song, this is undoubtedly the most influential guitar instrumental of all time. Fact.
By far.
It changed everything.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey, Papa Flunky, Mama Monkey, etc. So it inspired millions of guitar players. The big problem is it inspired millions of guitar players. So when you start to think about the horrible bands that were starting to get signed in the late 80s and early 90s with shredders in them, this is all Eruption's fault. So look at all the collateral damage that happened as a result of how great Eruption is. It's all Eddie Van Halen's fault that all this happened because of Eruption, where you could go with a band. You know what? A guitar only. Yes, there's drums in this. Yes, Michael Anthony plays the root notes. I get it, but now because of this, every band that had a hotshot guitar player thought, you know what? Our show has to have an 8-minute spotlight solo in the show while the singer takes a vocal rest, or in the case of Bret Michaels, he gets his insulin and all that kind of stuff. And that unfortunately made every concert that I've ever gone to less great because you have to wait for the guitarist to do an 8 to 10 minute solo thing. So that's why I blame Eruption and wanted to be number 11. because of what it signified. Does that make a little more sense?
You know what?
You're blaming Eddie Van Halen for Poison.
The trauma is real. You can hear
it
the
makes
man's
more
voice.
sense. Like now that you've put it into crystal clear perspectives, like you know what? I'm not even going to argue against you.
He's got PTSD.
Darren's got a rain.
But it's like I told Corey on today's show. You take the good with the bad, and you know the rest. Facts of life.
Can I add one little more thing?
Yes.
To that, the TV show The Bear, which a lot of people love. This new season is not great, but overall it's a great show. It made food, or it makes food into this pretentious thing. And so it's inspiring kind of the wrong people to now think that they know a lot about food because they watch The Bear.
This is like the Grey's Anatomy people who think they, know medicine. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's like people watch CSI and they think that's what investigators do, and those are the
right. Oh,
that's I
made the mistake, Darren. When I interviewed you, I fell into the trap. I'm like, so yeah, do you like PI? Do you like track down somebody whose wife's cheating on him? And you're like, no, that's like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's unfortunately like the bottom feeder kind of stuff, but that's a TV and film. People think they put a tracker on the bottom of the car and they tell him, your husband's in that house and he's about to cheat. Like, oh yeah, that's
so,
binoculars. Well,
so what I heard from all that was that Darren believes Eruption is the CSI of Van Halen songs.
Yes.
It's big in Middle America.
That's what I heard. Well, Kevin Brown, got to hear your take on Eruption. Hello, dear. Please go ahead.
I had it in second because I had I'm the One in first, but as everyone else has said, it transformed everything. I mean, I think I would say is that Hendrix at Woodstock doing Star Spangled Banner. I think that was one of the first times that someone did something on a guitar that everyone just went, "What the fuck is that?"
Right.
I'd say, I mean, lesser known, probably Chaz would know, but Brighton Rock by Brian May, his solo in that, he does this three-part counterpoint on stage. Totally weird, totally different. I think this is the last time that a guitarist, a virtuoso guitarist, has done something that is definitive. Like Paul Gilbert, Nuno, Satriani, Vai, they're all
Satriani.
Yeah, but does he have something that's as iconic in the public consciousness as this? Always with Me, Always with You.
No,
it's a big song, but and Satch Boogie is amazing, but no one has this statement piece that Eddie created.
Right.
No one's bettered this specific type of thing. Nope. And I don't think they ever will.
No, you're right. Hendrix. Yeah, the Hendrix thing. I got to give it up to the Hendrix one because, it really pissed a lot of the older people off, which is total rock and roll. Like, how dare you? That's blasphemy.
Right.
That's, you got to give it up to Hendrix. For that.
But fuck, in the 80s, who used to get really close with his instrumentals would be George Lynch. George Lynch put some master fucking tasty shred down that was melodic. It had structure. It wasn't just blistering, but just ripping note for note. I mean, it was all very, very well thought out in the studio.
The only reason to go to a Dawkins show was to see him.
But sorry, Corey. But Chaz, I guess what I'm kind of saying is I can't think of anything in the world of guitar that you think of since this point to say that changed everything. There hasn't been a complete watershed change since Eruption. That was the last one where it was like just everything changed.
Yeah. I mean, and never Nirvana did it as a sound, as an album.
Yeah.
But and Corey, last word from you about Eruption.
I just wanted to say that's the only reason to go see a Dawkins show was to see George Lynch, because I saw Don Dokken open for Poison. And that was fucking terrible.
If only he wasn't so well, never mind.
Yeah,
and
that's rough.
Now CC DeVille, who Darren is blaming on Eddie Van Halen, is doing Eruption as part of his guitar solo during Poison.
CC DeVille is trying to play Eruption. Are you fucking kidding me?
They share he's got Eddie's guitar tech. They
put something up on the desk.
That's what I was going to say to rudely interrupt there. CC has or had Eddie's guitar tech.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have Eddie's fingers though, does he? Jesus.
No, they knew each other though. They were friendly. So I mean, no, honestly, I think CC has done such a great job of ripping off Brian May that I think he belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, there you go.
What say you to that, Kevin?
I mean, as long as as long as Chaz is not arguing that he's anywhere near the same level,
no,
that's
but he's
okay.
ripped him off and
Yeah.
done something really, really uniquely American with it. I think in terms of taking some of Brian's best riffs and making some really fucking tasty hair metal songs. I think CC is underrated.
Yes, did you ever hear the solo record he did as the band Samantha 7?
No.
Oh no, I know the band name though.
Early 2000s. It was kind of pop punk. CC has chops. CC's living a gimmick like a wrestler. I still think that the voice is a put on that he does for interviews and all that. I think
the House of Horrors, and became the House of Horrors.
In the
What
House
are you
of
talking about?
But he plays every instrument. He's supremely talented, but he never attacks his trolls. So it's kind of like they're like, CC, you suck. Okay, I suck.
I'm a Poison fan. I think there's some great tunes, man.
I do. Yes, I do believe they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is like pretty solid. The one album they made, Native Tongue, with Blue Saraceno, that song "Stand," I think I think Bret Michaels' voice got improved over time. I don't know. I like him.
All right, season 4, Ultimate Catalog Clash. We're gonna do Poison. Kevin, are you ready?
There it is.
I mean, you thought I said the name Lars Ulrich a lot? Fucking stand by when we do Poison.
Oh boy!
Now, Kevin Brown.
Ricky Rocket.
Kevin Brown asked that I play a little music over the finale of the show here. He sent me a link. I don't know what this is. We're gonna find out.
Is he porn bombing you?
He might be. I don't know.
He might be.
I don't know.
Eric, that was for you.
It sounds like Ain't Talking About Love, but.
Oh, this is Ain't Talking About Dub.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh
my
Darren,
Lord.
we gotta get Corey to play Crackhead Bob sings Van Halen. I mean,
oh my God, I gotta find that now.
You guys know that? You know
Crackhead
that?
Bob? He's the best.
You know that? Okay.
Oh, this is dog shit. I'm gonna find some Crackhead Bob. That's gonna be better.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey, you could also do 2 Live Crew Fuck Shop.
That sounded like you were doing a Bob Dylan impression.
Yeah.
With the damn dough.
That's it.
I don't know.
Thank you.
My favorite Stuttering John interview of all time is when he went to that mansion that's an old rich guy, and he pissed him off, and they throw him out, and then he slaps Stuttering John, and Stuttering John's like, "You're a crazy old man. I hope you die tomorrow."
Was that when he used to harass Morton Downey Jr., didn't he?
Yes. Are you crazy?
Oh, here we go.
Are you crazy?
Yes.
Mucka puck.
I can't
I dig it.
Audio, guys.
I dig that.
Setting on my end.
No, keep it going.
You guys know why I don't hear any of the audio coming through? Is that a setting on my end?
It's
probably.
It's when people talk and it artifacts it out. So if everyone's quiet.
Everybody, shut up for a minute for Eric. Oh, that's the come and go where you could wash your dick in the sink.
And the jizzing fritz.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, for God's sakes.
At the fuck
Come on,
shop.
Mark, you got to get control of this podcast now, man. You're losing
Me, if only I
The-
were the producer. I'm not. I have no
You're the
control.
host, buddy. Come on.
I'm the
The
host.
slap
Okay,
to
well
get
then
the clap.
turn that shit off.
Okay,
The
it's
host
done.
commands it.
Yeah, this is the live show.
Yeah, it's like we're live
This is
and
the after hours show.
I mean, it is after hours, but it is also. That's it, man. That's the end of it. We have ranked it.
Wow.
We have ranked them all. The
Holy
ultimate,
shit.
not catalog class, but rather the ultimate catalog journey of Van Halen, and we have done it.
Nice.
Wow.
Congratulations,
Just let that
boys.
sink in,
Fucking
man,
A.
you know?
That's quite an accomplishment, man. This really is kind of the
No
capstone.
kidding.
Other than
Yeah.
what Brown's going to do for you next week. I mean, this is it. The
yeah,
work
yeah,
is done.
so the work is done. We just have
Fuck.
the retrospective that I suppose Kevin Brown's
Yeah.
going to do for us. Can you give us a little sneak peek at what we can expect for this kind of final show of the era?
Nope.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to thank this panel for being here. This was great. This is so good. Always a fun time talking Van Halen stuff with you guys, man. So, and thank you all to the everyone in the chat. We had some chats, including the lady who is home now. And we appreciate you guys taking this journey. It's not quite done yet, so I just want you to know, like, we're not gonna go dark or anything like that. Like, nah, we'll be around. They can't get rid of us so easily. We're like the cockroaches of the podcasting universe. You think sorry to mention roaches, babe. That's a sore subject. What? But anyway. So anyway, let's go ahead and go around the room here and thank these panelists. Thank you guys so much. Darren, please, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for being on this journey with us and including us in your journey as well. So please, once more, let the people know what you got going on and where they can find you if you want them to.
Sure. DLR book, How Daily Wealth Changed the World, still out through Amazon, Walmart, Target, BNN, anywhere you'd buy a book online, etc. It's there. The DLR cast, we're hoping to tape another episode over the weekend where we'll be speaking with a Broadway actor who's in Stereophonic, which is on Broadway right now. The Paltrocast with Darren Paltrow, it's on 150 plus stations, plus YouTube, etc., Spotify, etc. And if you want to get into the Dappleverse, which Eric and I, more specifically me, keep bringing up, go on YouTube and look up this channel called Menser. It's like Mensa, the genius organization, Menser, MENSCR, Menser Math. And they put together these super chats that people $2 at a time insult Stuttering John and gets to read them in order to get the $2. And you're welcome.
And a free plug for Who Are These Podcasts? That's
Carl's great.
Oh man. So be on the lookout for that. Always entertaining as ever. And speaking of entertaining, we can never do these ranking shows without someone at the forefront of the entertainment, and it's Chasman Taz making waves with a new podcast of the regarding series regarding Van Halen 3. But don't take my word for it. Chaz, please. First of all, thank you again for being on this journey. You were one of our early ones, man. So we thank you for that and your continuous support. Let the people know where they can find you if you want them to and what you got going on.
Well, thank you very much. And I don't know if I want people to find me, but they can find our podcasts. So definitely regarding Van Halen 3 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts, it's populating out there. And we've got Rush Rash, of course, with Shats. But yeah, join us, me, Scott Monroe, Greg Wolfie Wolf, as we continue going through regarding Van Halen 3. And this week we got the episode dropping with you boys. Going to be a lot of fun. Tune in. Going to be some surprises on that one. Got just getting through post-production on that. Having some fun. Maybe even might experience some mashup with some content coming over from Ultimate Catalog Clash. So you got to tune in and find out what the hell I do this time.
Definitely tune in for that. Good stuff, whatever. One of our longtime supporters, speaking of, we can never do, there's a lot of these things we can't do with regarding this show, whether it is just putting shows together, doing trivia, or just simply designing merch. I don't have a good artistic hand, unfortunately, in that way, but Kevin Brown does. And Kevin is a jack of many trades, master of at least one of them. I don't know. But I have to imagine that there's probably one. There's probably just one. But if not, you say so. You're humble. But we give you so much. Well, Corey gives you so much grief, and I apologize on his behalf. But it all stems from love, and we really appreciate you being a part of this thing with us, and glad you're still with us. You haven't abandoned ship yet because you're a busy guy. Please let the people know all the things you got going on.
Well, rather than do that, I'm going to say you guys always say that Pod of Thunder is the recognized gold standard of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, and I keep telling you guys have taken that mantle now. I love you guys. I've been on board since the beginning. You brought me back to Van Halen. You gave me a band back that I'd kind of forgotten about and lost. So I'll be eternally grateful for that. And the fact that I'm able to jump in and join you every now and again is just a pure joy in my life. I would just say to everyone, make sure you go check out the Patreon. It's not very much. Every month you can support the show a little bit. There's a lot of work putting together a podcast like this, especially the live stuff. Corey and Mark, you do a fantastic job with it. So thank you for everything you do in the Van Halen community.
Humble as always. Well, we thank you as well. We without the support of you guys, though, we would not be still doing this. I've mentioned that before to Corey. I've said it many times, and it holds true. And definitely credit where credit is due, man. I think a lot of our continued longevity and the fact that our show even reached so many ears is not limited to the efforts of Eric Sinich and the Van Halen news desk. I mean, Eric, man, it's like everyone yelled at us for so long. I think they finally eased up, saying it was like, why in the hell would you guys do a Van Halen podcast? You don't even know anything about the bands. I thought you guys were experts. Like, no, we keep saying we're not experts. So therefore, like, well, we got to find some experts to give us some sort of credibility, right? And lo and behold, Mr. Van Halen news desk himself, Eric Sinich, you've been a part of our show for a very long time. You've become a mainstay player like the rest of these boys here. And that words just can't describe it, man. You're such an awesome dude to get to know and be a part of this journey with us. Thank you so much for your support. Let the people know what you got going on. You too are a busy guy.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, and I did not get paid a penny by these guys, by the way. Nothing. Just free plugs.
Can confirm.
Like vhnd.com. You guys know the Van Halen news desk, or as my chiropractor likes to say, the Van Halen help desk. Some Van Halen fans need help, but Van Halen news desk, vhnd.com. Just put up a David Lee Roth summer playlist of songs, which we had fun putting that one together. We did cover the Best of All Worlds opening night, so videos of all the Van Halen songs on there, and our man Darren has been contributing quite a bit to the site too, because he's always Dave bombing. I love the Dave bomb questions on the Paltrow cast. So we just put one up on Shinedown's Barry Kirch, who had some interesting things to say about when Shinedown opened for Van Halen on the 04 tour, and how he witnessed Eddie kick Sammy in the nuts on stage.
Nice.
Fucking crazy.
Well, Sammy hit the high C that night.
I had to send that to Shinedown's publicist and go, oh, so listen, we got some pickups on this interview. It just happens to be the part about Eddie kicking Sammy in the nuts. But no. We're still plugging Shinedown.
Exactly. But yeah, and then of course the Van Halen 3 article, it was so cool. Ultimate Classic Rock picked up on it, and what did you say? It was Metal. What was it? Metal Injection. What was the website again?
Metal Injection.
Yeah, Metal Injection.
So it's so cool to see, Kevin and Scott and Chaz get that love, because it was just simply just like, Kevin, you just said to me, hey, what do you think? Check it out. And I immediately was like, this is a story idea. This is really interesting. And I said to Kevin, give me your thoughts. I said to Scott, give me your thoughts. They emailed me those quotes that you say, and that was it. And it's a really interesting story, an awesome job by Kevin. So I'm just so happy that those guys got some love, So that's vhnd.com. And then Booked on Rock. You can go to bookdownrock.com and find all the information there, but it's on YouTube, it's on all the audio platforms. Just put up an episode on Toto, and then tomorrow morning I'm interviewing an author on Small Faces and Faces, which I'm looking forward to, because that's a kick-ass band. I'm not sure how much you guys know about that. Obviously Rod Stewart was in Faces, but Small Faces had Steve Marriott, the original singer, who was an unbelievable singer. And he went on to form Humble Pie. So lots of good stuff with Booked on Rock. And Chaz, I've set up something with Daniel Buckspan through Darren's buddy Steve Roth, our friend Steve Roth, Rush at 50 in September.
Hot damn.
Yes. So we got Daniel coming on to talk about that in September. So looking really had Mark Kendall on of Great White, by the way, recently. Had some great Van Halen stories, how he went and saw Van Halen at a junkyard for like $1. And all the kegs were there and everything. Yeah, it was really, really, really cool. So
I was playing tribute shows with Great White's new kid vocalist before he got the gig. Yeah.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, I know him a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. And Jack Russell just announced his retirement. Like he's finally he said he has Lewy body dementia, which is what Robin Williams had. So he posted to social media saying he's done. So that's kind of, sad, but that's all I got, man. Those are my plugs.
All right.
Oh, and all props to Jizz and Frizz, Romp and Stomp season 3.
All props to those. Yes, all of them. The Come and Go, the Jizz and Frizz. Never forget. Never forget. And as always, everybody, podcastwillrock.com. That's where you find all the backlog episodes, all the episodes now. They're all there. And you'll want to stick around to that. You want to stick to that site for future shows and future endeavors that we have going on. It's also links to all the socials, of course, to the merch store. All the merch. Get yourself a tank top, get yourself a shirt, what have you. A lot of designs by the very own Kevin Brown. They're awesome. I can't wait for the he didn't even write this Ice Cream Man exclusive. That's that's gonna be great. It's gonna make me so happy. Patreon.com /podcast will rock. Like the boy said, join the Patreon, man. You'll get a link to the Discord, which is where the conversations are always happening continuously. You also get to contribute your ideas of where you think we should go. Like what should we spin? Who should be on the wheel? What should be listening to? Things like that. It's really cool. Find a perk that's right for you, a tier that's right for you. All kinds of perks. Thank you guys once again. Corey, what do you say, man? Should we just turn this thing out?
Let's just turn this thing out. I'm just eternally grateful to everybody for supporting us and for all the people on the call. I'm just sitting here wondering, like, how do I get Kevin Brown clout so I can get a fucking article on the Van Halen news desk? We just did a whole podcast breaking out every single song on Van Halen. Nothing from Senich.
Nothing. I know. I know. I know.
What a jerk. Actually, Eric, after your first article, I'm cool with not having a second one because
I got it. Here it is. Here it is.
Pretty bad.
Startling. Here's a scoop for everybody. We will get that article, Corey, I promise you, because Kevin Brown and Scott are going to redux the Redux for Van Halen 3, and I'm going to do the vocals.
Nice.
I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna do. And then Gary will be apologizing to me. No, he won't be apologizing. I'll be apologizing to Gary probably more.
Oh, that would be great.
But
oh my God,
I'm kidding, by the way. I don't think I have it. I don't think I could stomach doing the lyrics. I can't.
Well, let's take on the Roger Waters stack and just change the arrangements. We'll do it like sousaphone and accordion, and you can just put the vocals on. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
I mean, there you go. Something to think about. So we'll get that article, Corey, one way or another. We'll get it. You hear that, Sinich? We're getting that article.
just fabricate stuff, make shit up.
There you go.
What the hell?
I mean, in this day and age, sure.
That's what we do.
So that's what's
I climbed David Lee Roth. I climbed David Lee Roth mansion wall.
I think though.
The real Roth effect, tall tales. That'll do it for everyone on this panel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Keep on listening. We're not quite done yet, but for right now, we are, and the podcast will rock, but we will rock you sometime later.